3667 for details, or find Heavy Metal Buildings on Facebook.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Is cocaine a stronger up?
Yeah.
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a good, great, beautiful show. And of course, Montgomery needs a new mayor, and we'll get into all of that coming up. And of course, I want to begin where I normally begin, with what I was writing about, thinking about, what was on my mind over the weekend. And by the way, I wrote this before the whole Trump-Pope spat. Before the whole Trump-Pope spat, which I'll get to, which my humble take on it, hilarious. It's hilarious. Trump has no chill. Anyway, this is what was on my mind. I believe this is going to be called Spectators of War, Get on Your Knees. When Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open towards Jerusalem. And he got down upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he had done previously. It's from the book of Daniel 6:10. Last week, when President Donald Trump threatened Iran with a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, I found myself not only disturbed at the prospect of the threat, but troubled by the war of words reacting to the president's message, as though we were losing a much more important war whose battlefield plays out in every human heart. Since the outbreak of this conflict, I have been praying for peace privately and publicly. I do not wish to see one soul, let alone thousands upon thousands, needlessly slaughtered. Violence, once unleashed, sings its own unpredictable song, infecting the hearts of those who do its bidding as well as those who meekly witness its malevolence. All who hear the song of violence, whether they wish to carry its tune or not, must reckon with it. Even the self-proclaimed peacemaker who attempts to sing a counter hymn should not think himself immune to its disharmony. Have you ever noticed that so many people calling for peace do not seem to have peace? Have you ever noticed the cruel irony that some who cry out for conflict bring about harmony, while those who scream for peace, by the way they scream, seem to bring war? Would those quick to call political leaders war criminals deserving of a firing squad pull the trigger themselves? Would they pull the trigger with reluctance or relish the opportunity? Why do those who condemn the unjust abuse of authority so often seem to lust for that authority themselves? Though there are genuine peacemakers in the world, faithful servants willing to brave the lion's den on their knees, by the way, I would include the Pope in that, too many people who oppose conflict seem to harbor hostility within their hearts. Nestled in their detached seats online, they cried, "Peace, peace," only to pile up insults, accusations, and condemnations and anger against their fellow spectators singing, "War, war, war." Detached from actual responsibility, too many supporters and detractors of war are more than happy to hold others responsible from the cheap seats. It is easy to moralize for or against any given conflict. Yet to practically reckon with conflict is a much more difficult cross to bear. Too many, for or against war, seem unable to feel the weight of the authority that carries political leaders into battle more than leaders freely carry their authority into the fray. The watchers of war may assure themselves, if only I were in the room, if only I were in the chair, if only I were the one with my finger on the button, I would do the right and just thing. Yet unless you're in that room or chair, your finger hovering above the button, how would you know what you might do? How could mere observers, whether for or against war, ever know the burden of such a thing? Do war spectators not know that God will judge the leaders of nations who conspire and plot wars in vain? Last week, when Trump gave his civilizational level threat, I did pray for peace. I did not wish to see thousands upon thousands of poor souls slaughtered. Thank God that did not come to pass. Today, I still pray for an end to the conflict, even as peace negotiations falter. Yet, as I continue to pray for peace, I'm not going to sit from my own spectator seat and spit condemnation at those who must make these decisions, nor will I judge my fellow war watchers, though the hostility in their hearts is apparent by the insults and rebukes that fire from their mouths at one another. I wish they may all find heaven. Yet as I pray for peace and wish for heaven, I know I am a coward. If I truly believed in heaven, I would put myself in the way of those bombs. If I truly believed in peace, I would die for peace. If I truly believed, I would fall on my knees towards the city of peace, Jerusalem, and pray 3 times a day, even if it meant being thrown into the lion's den. Very few today will ever face such a consequence. How many of us who critique matters of war and peace from our detached seats could ever live up to such a standard of faithful sacrifice? Very few indeed. Spectators of war, get on your knees. Spectators of war, pray for your enemies. Spectators of war, ask the Lord God for mercy. The true fight, for sinners and saints alike, starts on our knees, so we may ask to do His will and not our own. Again, I wrote that before all this broke out. I checked on Sunday, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Troy Carrico's in the studio with me. I just found myself like not even mad about it, just like, right. What is this cartoon show I'm watching?
I, like you, when I first saw it come across my feed, I go, what? At war with the Pope? What is this? What madness is this?
So what kicked this really off, the Pope had put out comments saying, like every Pope in modern history, like, we want peace, we want resolution.
Always.
Which is what you want a Pope to say.
Sure.
But here Trump came out with this. It's a long one. Pope Leo is weak on crime. I thought maybe Mayor Stephen Reed is weak on crime. Pope Leo is weak. Well, they got a crime problem at the Vatican.
I love it.
Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all other Christian organizations had during COVID when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else for holding church services, even when going outside and being 10 and even 20 feet apart. By the way, who was president at the beginning of COVID?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, interesting. I like his brother Louis much better than I like him. What is this? Because Louis is all MAGA. He gets it, and Leo doesn't. I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacks Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the United States, and even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers, into our country. And I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do. Setting record low numbers in crime and creating the greatest stock market in history. Leo should be thankful. This next part is Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be pope and was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump.
I'm sorry.
If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, does not sit well with me, nor does the fact that he meets with Obama sympathizers like David Axelrod, a loser from the left, who was one of those who wanted churchgoers and clerics to be arrested. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church, President Donald J. Trump. I'm like, that's By the way, as far as Trump criticism goes, it's pretty mild.
It is very mild. Yeah.
I like your brother better than you.
He
gets it. You don't get it, Leo. You don't get it one bit. You don't want to run to
I love how he parlays, you're on my coattails. Had I not been president, you wouldn't be Pope.
My goodness. And then, so here is a clip of Pope Leo on the papal airplane. You got Air Force One, then you got a papal airplane.
That's right. You got the Pope.
And apparently he's on his way to Algeria, which only has about 9,000 Catholics.
Interesting.
And so it's sort of a way, and it's mostly a Sunni Muslim majority country.
Yes, it is.
And so he is going there to kind of look out for this nascent little seed of Catholicism, of Christianity that's there in Algeria. And, going to do the whole interfaith thing. But apparently, like most of the people that stop by the Basilica, the cathedral they have there in Algeria are Muslim, actually.
It wouldn't surprise me. You know what's odd about the Sunni Muslims, and I've seen this firsthand, and I want to comment on your article, your opinion piece here, in a minute about warriors and about your observations, but the Sunnis are very tolerant for the most part inside their own country. Take a look at the Syrians. You have the Alawite, you've got the Druze, you've got all these different groups there. So it's interesting though that he chooses Algeria because a former French colony, right? And kind of near the Sahel where you have all these Boko Haram and ISIS and all that. So interesting he's going there. What do you know about the Basilica there?
Not much.
Okay.
Other than it's pretty new and like only 9,000
interesting
people there are actually.
He's planting a flag, I guess.
Catholics, I don't know the entire Christian population there, but I imagine it ain't big. They don't allow, they're tolerant to the point of you ain't allowed to proselytize too much.
No, I'm certain of that, but there are probably Coptic Christians there in the North Africa. So
after Trump put out the what we just read on True Social, and by the way, also put out a photo of himself essentially as Jesus healing somebody.
I did not.
There was also this maybe it was an AI artifact, but it looked like it was like 3 or 4 or 5 soldiers on the horizon kind of floating on the heavens. But the one in the center looked like it had horns and a triple crown. I'm like, what is that demonic thing in the background? Apparently Trump has deleted that post claiming, I thought it was making me out to be a doctor because I support the Red Cross. But anyway. This is what cartoon character? What is this? What simulation is this that we're in? Before I even play Pope Leo, just in, Iran's president condemns insults towards Pope Leo the 14th on behalf of Iran, and says the desecration of Jesus is unacceptable.
Really?
Here is Pope Leo responding himself. It's one of the benefits of having a pope that can speak the English.
This is true.
Let's listen in.
The message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being political, politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this. Thank you very much for the time.
And, it's not like people are always looking out for what the Pope has said, but consistently. Like when the Iranians are killing people in their own country, when he went to Lebanon and literally while he's there calls out Hezbollah.
Yes.
So he's pretty consistent about this message. And he is not who I had in mind of the obnoxious spectators of war who I just noticed that. And maybe I played that character for a few years where you claim to be for peace and you want peace and you're anti-war, but then the way you present that message, it seems like you ain't at peace, man.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to comment on. I think you did a very good job of capturing the dichotomy between the war makers and the peacemakers and some of the under disguise kind of individuals that are out there. And, I've always said this, and I say this to you, is it better to have a gardener in a war or a warrior in a garden? And what I mean by that is I have experienced the hell and the fury of combat, and I can tell you that no one desires a war less than a warrior. We prepare, though, for that provision should it be needed. And I think that one of the things that I am careful to always try to clarify is this a war hawk? Is this a monger like a Lindsey Graham who's throwing around this stuff and he was sitting in the comfort of his chambers and not fighting? And yeah, he was an Army JAG. Whoop-de-doo. They don't do anything. They're chairborne Rangers. And I look at it and I think, I don't want war, but when it's go time, then we bring hellfire down upon our enemy, and we are nation destroyers, and that's our job, and we finish our job. Sort of like Joab was to David in many ways. We have to be the destroyer, and I don't want to unleash the destroyer, but when it comes time, you have to do that. And I think that's I've noticed, and in your writing, it was very, very clear to me. You understood the difference between those that talk of war and freely of war, but don't have to bear the burden of war. And that's why I think we got to be careful.
Well, and like, I think it goes without saying that even say we perfectly are in a just war of defense and a just war to bring about justice and peace to an order. Even the most justified warrior, like I said, I think if you have to carry the tune of violence, it can create disharmony even when you're justified.
Absolutely.
And, like there's just, honestly, to me, it kind of goes on set. I wanted to focus more on the keyboard warriors.
Very good.
So to speak. But this made me crack up. Like, why would Trump hit the Pope? Well, CNN, you know this Harry Ensign guy?
Yes, I know.
I think he's from New York or something.
I think he is, yeah. I love this guy.
President Trump is jealous of Pope Leo XIV because it is a blowout. It is a blowout, and this is just the American public at large, John. Look at this. It is a blowout on the net popularity rating. Pope Leo XIV at plus 34. Look at where Donald Trump is at minus 12. It's not even close. It's a nearly 50-point blowout amongst the American public at large. Pope Leo XIV absolutely crushing President Trump when it comes to how popular they are, at least as of the last month. And I will note that Pope Leo was the most popular person tested by NBC News. I believe the president is making a humongous mistake going after the most popular guy in America, at least well-known guy.
Question is, why is this man smiling here? How about among American Catholics?
Yeah, that's right. There's a reason why the Pope is smiling there. How about among American Catholics? President Trump is struggling with American Catholics. Look at this. Maybe this is part of the reason why he's going after the Pope. U.S. Catholics on Trump. You know, you go back to November of 2024. Look at this. President Trump crushed Kamala Harris by 20 points. But down he goes into the Dead Sea. Look at this, minus 4 points. That's a nearly 25-point switcheroo.
Yeah, but then if Kamala's back on the ticket or something, or Gavin Newsom, I think a lot of Catholics go back home. To the Republican.
Harry needs his jacket's a little tight.
Yeah, he's a little tight.
But that's okay. I like him. He always has got something good to say.
Well, that's apparently the style these days.
Well, you look at our mayor. He loves to wear floods and tight clothes.
Again, I find this hilarious. I think this is like, what simulation are we in? Somebody commented on my Facebook page. We'll forget, I'd bet $1 we'll forget about this 24 hours. I told her you should bet more because we are.
We are in a simulation.
But this is the day. This is the 24 hours we're in. And right now everybody's like, what are the odds of why is Trump attacking the Pope?
In the wrong direction. The president has been struggling with Catholics. And I must say, in my expert opinion, I'm not quite sure that going after the Pope is the way to recover with Catholics.
And look, we were just listening to that interview with Kate right there. And the Pope's stance on Iran is exactly what you would expect from a pontiff talking about war and peace here. What do Catholics in the United States, how do they feel about the military action?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pope Leo XIV, an American, is emblematic of Catholics here in America. Just take a look here. Take a look. Net approval rating among U.S. Catholics. U.S. military action against Iran, minus 10 points, quite negative. You think that's low, though? Come over to this side of the screen. Trump on Iran. Look at this. They're even more sour on Trump. 20 points underwater. So the bottom line is this. The Pope is emblematic of Catholics here in the United States. The Pope is far more popular with the American public than Trump is here in the United States. And Trump has been struggling with Catholics here in the United States, very much so, losing a lot of ground, as you see right here, a nearly 25-point switcheroo. And this ain't going to help.
I wouldn't go so far as to say is emblematic. I think he's the leader of the Catholic Church and Catholics in terms of faith and morals. But in terms of the politics of this, Trump is losing ground with all groups.
I was getting
the
ready
nature
to
of
say,
being in power.
just even non-denominational Christians, I think you would see the same. So
right, and I believe this was a clip of the Pope in Lebanon. Okay, I believe it's in Lebanon. Yeah, he was addressing Lebanese youth in this clip, and this just gives a little perspective on like what's his point of view on the political. I think in certain ways, the leadership of the Catholic Church, the bishops, the way they talk about certain policies and don't talk about others, say the way they talk about immigration, then don't talk as much about abortion with certain politicians. I think there is no surprise. In fact, I have Kevin Roberts there at Heritage Foundation to back this up, that the newer, younger, whether you're talking clergy or the lay folks, are much more conservative. And the guys who, I mean, it's not that shocking. The guys who grew up and came into their own and came into power in the 60s and 70s are more liberal.
Sure.
So, like,
it's a sign of the times. Yeah.
But honestly, that shouldn't be the point of the church, as the Pope lays out, talking to Lebanon.
Please be careful not to use political categories to speak about faith or to speak about the church. The church doesn't belong to any political party. Rather, she helps form your conscience.
Yeah, that should be kind of the point. It should form your conscience. And then when you get to the practical nitty-gritty of life, well, you should listen to that well-formed conscience.
Trump is the master of politicizing everything.
Yes, he is. He's, but he didn't just do that. Apparently the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz has begun, and that has been the reaction after the fallout from the negotiations in Pakistan, and we can do an inside scoop on what happened behind closed doors there in Pakistan. Met for like 20-something hours.
So I'm friends with a guy named Ryan Evans who has the War on the Rocks podcast up in D.C., and he had on Admiral Fogo and Admiral Fozzie Miller, which were both former Fifth Fleet Middle East commander and Sixth Fleet Mediterranean commander, who ran the Libyan blockades and all this, and it was a fascinating as an army. A subject matter expert in Army and kind of air support operations, to hear their perspective on the challenges that they have with the blockade and what is the ultimate end state. You hear about the minesweepers. Well, really, they're not sweeping the entire straits. No. They're making a corridor that will be safely identified. But they ran two boats, the Mike Murphy and two destroyers through the straits, which the IRGC said if that happens again, that'll be considered a breach of the violation. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah,
we will see. It's a challenge. And also from the Wall Street Journal, Trump's considering limited military strikes in our end. But I think this is actually a pretty good move. Instead of going back to I'm going to destroy your entire civilization. How about this? We're going to blockade everything. Sorry, Europe. Sorry, China. Sorry, India. We're not playing this game anymore.
Actually, they're talking about not a complete blockade in a naval sense, only the ones that are going to Iranian ports to get oil.
Right, and paying a toll to go through.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you don't listen to Iran. You listen to us. Right. Now, after all this, after Trump starts a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, like one of the major choke points of all the world, and after he crap posts about the Pope, I don't like him, he's weak. He's a weak Pope. I like his brother better. His brother is much better. Trump decides, you know what, after tweeting at the Pope and starting this blockade, how about we order some Mickey D's from DoorDash, folks?
Okay.
This is outside the Oval Office.
Looking at a live picture of the president. We heard the press had been gathering.
Where's Chris Christie at?
And getting a food delivery.
I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 that you didn't get because the tax bill was so big.
The no tax on tips is what he's
talking about. Right.
So it's like, after crap posting about the Pope and really sticking it to the Iranians, you know what, I need a filet of fish. Let's order DoorDash and promote our no tax on tips.
Call Chris Christie. I'll need a truckload.
Yeah, and in the same little moment where he orders the DoorDash and that lovely woman, is saving all that money with the no tax on tips, and it's a cool little moment. Folks asked him about a picture that he posted, which did very much look like, this was
State.
This was like him being Jesus.
Okay, that's what I want to see.
And apparently he's not deleted that post.
Okay.
Here, I'll pull up. It's one of these AI generated things that, I mean, it's, but if you look closely, I'd up my brightness for you. Yeah, if you look closely behind him, the one soldier on the horizon in the background looks weird, man. Yeah. But it's Trump essentially, I'll put it on the screen.
Almost makes it look from a distance angelic with wings coming out of him, but it looks like there's horns.
There are horns on it as well.
There are horns on it.
Well, apparently Trump has now deleted that.
Okay.
And then,
probably a good idea.
And they asked him about it. Like, what were you doing with that clip there? Why would you post that?
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, that's especially that voice. Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as the doctor, and it had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So
his press secretaries are going, no.
What is this simulation we live in?
I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people better, a lot better. As
a doctor with sunlight coming out of his hands.
The divine hand of God healing you.
Example, the 11,000. I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yeah, let's turn it back to the no tax on tip.
Wow. His press secretaries are like, we have a runner. We have a runner. Get him.
Well, just after all this, I was like, what a way to start the week.
It's a great Monday.
Yeah. Let's post about the Pope. Let's block Hormuz, order a filet of fish, promote no tax on tips. And I didn't. Why did you post a picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ? It was me as a doctor. I wasn't Jesus. I love the Red Cross.
I help people, he said.
It's a great opening salvo to the week, folks.
Sure.
In all seriousness, I do continue to pray for peace. Hopefully there is a breakthrough where it does look like there actually was a lot of agreement in the room on a lot of issues. The sticking point continued to be the nuke.
I've told you that is non-negotiable, and I think it will be ultimately the undoing of it. They are not going to yield on that. So
we also have stuff about Eric Swalwell. We also have momentum growing for the GOP to nuke the filibuster, pass the SAVE Act. Also, U.S. Appeals Court declares a 158-year-old home distilling ban unconstitutional.
Yeah, I saw that, and I commented on that on X the other day. I go, well, good. I said something to the effect of, we here at Old Whippoorwill will continue to distill whether or not it is legal or legal. So.
Yeah, it was kind of cooler when it was illegal, but we'll keep doing it anyway.
I don't feel as outlawish anymore.
Anyway, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back, folks.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Our amazing string of warm, storm-free days continues apparently for several more days. Today, I've got the high temperature up to about 86 with partial sunshine. Mostly clear tonight. Overnight low 56. Then edging closer to the upper 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good bit of sunshine each day. If we get to 90 or above Friday and Saturday, that is close to record territory. No storm systems in the foreseeable future. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And how about instead of jumping right back into the Strait of Hormuz and Eric Swalwell's just being a nasty boy, or the home distilling ban being declared unconstitutional, let's go local.
What do we got?
Well, you know, I've been beginning the show with saying, and it's always good to say, thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully the show's good. And Montgomery needs a new mayor.
Yes.
This is from Caleb Taylor at 1819 News. There were 7 shootings and 4 homicides in Montgomery over the weekend.
Wow.
Montgomery Police Chief James Grayboys told reporters on Sunday afternoon that all the homicides involved a victim and suspect familiar with each other. Yeah, that's most of these. And for a while, I think that's put people at ease. Like, if I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not in the wrong part of town, nobody's really going to mess with me. But it's still not that comforting at a certain point as these sorts of battles, these turf wars start to creep all over the city. But here is what Grayboy said, quote, during these investigations, detectives confirmed that none of these cases were actually related to each other. Each case was an individual incident. In every homicide, the victim and suspect were known to each other. These were not random attacks, but they are unacceptable. One of the suspects was charged on Sunday. Montgomery police charged Adrian Jackson, 30, an older man by these standards, with capital murder. Judge better not let him out. He was booked into the Montgomery County Detention Facility. Legislation setting minimum staffing standards for the Montgomery Police Department died in the House last week. On the last day of the 2026 legislative session, the Speaker of the House said, well, we just didn't have the time. Didn't make the time.
That's right.
By design.
Yep.
But, you know, I'm at the point where it is a leadership question. And I think Montgomery has been essentially doing de facto defunding of the police. Despite they say the other thing. They publicly say, no, we're funding it more. And no, we want progress. Mm-hmm. Progress is what we're shooting for, what we're aiming for.
Sure.
And you know what? If you start to see a drop in homicides, you see more officers on the force, say we get over 300. 300. Like, get over 300 officers.
That would be right.
I'd hire a bunch of folks in the next year or two. I think it'll shut up a lot of people. But right now, sitting where we're sitting, I think it's a leadership question. I don't think it's a quantitative stats question. I think it is
qualitative.
Qualitative, yes.
I agree.
So Chris Elliott, state senator who I believe backed SB 298 that Will Barfoot put forward, said, well, quoting that state senator, I think Mayor Reed made a huge mistake in not working with Senator Barfoot on that piece of legislation and not embracing additional law enforcement presence in Montgomery. That could have been a real serious help to the businesses in Montgomery and certainly to the citizens in Montgomery, because there's a very real problem for him and the chief to say there's no problem in Montgomery is just so tone deaf. It's not even funny. Elliott argues that Reed should have accepted assistance, as Alabama's next presumptive governor may likely deploy the National Guard to minimize crime in the state's capital. He might stop short of that if there's some deal to be made. But yeah, here's what Elliott said. I think he's right on this. But here's why they should have done it more than anything. When Coach Tuberville becomes governor, he's absolutely going to implement changes in policing in Montgomery. And I wouldn't put the National Guard past him at all. He's going to crack down and he's going to make the capital city safe. So I think this was unwise for Mayor Reed not to embrace the help that Senator Barfoot was trying to offer him, because Coach Tuberville is going to look at it very differently.
Concur.
I think Coach Tuberville is going to fix it. He goes on to say, I think he's going to be a lot more direct, if you will, than what Barfoot was trying to do. When in Montgomery for legislative session, Elliott said he asked for rooms on the top floor of hotels, not because I want a great view. That's because I hope that it is a great view, by the way, overlooking the river and stuff at the Renaissance. But that's because I hope that when the random gunfire from the street erupts below, that the trajectory of the bullet that comes through the window might actually lodge in the ceiling instead of the wall. Montgomery is not a safe town to be in. There is random gunfire that you hear all the time. I found bullets, not casings, the actual spent round laying in the parking lot of the State House. Elliott goes on to accuse Reed of refusing to realize the extent of the crime problem. It's a culture issue, it's a public safety issue, but above all, it's a leadership issue in that town. It is one of those things that concerns me, it concerns my colleagues, I know it concerns Governor Ivey, I just don't know why in the world we didn't move forward. The House adjourned right before they got to that bill. It certainly could have had the time to do it. Yep, but they didn't. And we'll see. And of course, when I say Montgomery needs a new mayor, it's not like I want to be mayor. I'll be fully honest about that. It's going to require somebody to actually, who's well-funded, who can make the arguments and make the points to the entire community. Because Montgomery will work really well when we are one town and one people, despite divides. That would be something we'll watch for. It's about a year and a half away for elections. It's still very early in those regards. I haven't heard rumors of people running. I've not heard anything solid. So we'll see. But awful, bloody weekend. Well, awful when you see 4 people dead.
Yes, it is. And Chief Grayboy's, he's in a no-win situation. He is not in control of that boat. And I'm telling you that a cultural degradation has occurred within the Montgomery Police Department to a point where those that are in the LEO profession would steer clear of it. It's going to take major horsepower to get this righted, and we'll see. I don't know. Tommy Tuberville maybe can do it, but it's going to be turning a battleship for sure.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Well, it's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I just want to join this discussion about Montgomery and what's happening. But personally, I'd just like to say, Pope, he's got a role to play, and he's playing that role very well.
But I don't like him. I like his brother better.
No, I like his brother better, too.
He'll never get into a Chicago White Sox. Hey, he'll never get into a Chicago White Sox game again. I can tell you that.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny.
It is kind of a childish. But I would say this. The Roman Catholic Church is not just as genuine as the day is long. I mean, are you trying to tell me they don't ever do anything political? Please,
right?
Just give me a big old break.
That's made up of human beings like every other institution, and human beings do very, very human stuff.
Yes, they do.
And not to mention, hey, you believe in open borders? Well, kick down that wall, Pope. Bring down that wall around the Vatican. Let's see how long you last. I mean, just the hypocrisy of it all. Yeah, they like being able to be protected by their walls, but they don't want to have to deal with the results of the people here in this country and others that are dying because of the brutality of the third world moving into this country. Yeah, no, they don't want to say. They just want to wash their hands of that and say, oh, it doesn't matter.
You know, Papa B, when you say that, and Joey, I'll be interested to get your opinion. I think I know what your answer is going to be on this because we've talked at length. One of the challenges the Catholic Church has is that if you look at the preponderance of its flock, a lot of them are in second world, third world developing areas and less developed areas. So you got to be careful how you couch things. That's just I think it's unlike evangelical Christian organizations here and denominations, the challenge with them is they have to be many things to many different people. And I think that's always a challenge.
Well, and there's nothing in principle in Catholic teaching. In fact, the Pope himself has said this, that he doesn't say that, because of what we teach, you have to have open borders. Nations have a right to order and justice. And, but this idea of
easier said than done.
For sure, but I also would put it this way: you'll have the top two. Maybe somebody else will rise up and be different. The top two contenders are pretty devout Roman Catholics, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. Sure. Vance is coming out with a very book talking about his conversion.
That's awesome.
And there are, especially, I could pull up here in a second. I want to get back to the Montgomery thing. Kevin Roberts, the Heritage Foundation, lays out the numbers that your guys, Pope Leo's age, the cardinals and bishops of that older vintage, they tend to be more liberal, just practically speaking in their politics. And the new priests, the new clergy, the new laity that's coming in tend to be much more conservative. So
that's good.
It should be interesting to see the dynamic. And actually, I think in Hope and Pray, that's what would make the church sound, is you actually have that tension there you can work out.
But, back to the police thing, Mayor Reed and all that. I don't want to hear anybody saying that Mayor Reed just doesn't understand. He knows good and John Brown well what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. He's BLM stand for? What does BLM stand for?
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives,
Mm-hmm.
and also Black Liberation Movement. And what is that? What have we come to find out about their Marxists? He's got Marxist, in Marxist edifices now inscribed, Marxist paraphernalia inscribed on edifices downtown. Still, okay, these are socialist Marxists.
Yep.
And one of the things that you can count on is this: they do not like law enforcement. They are pro-crime, pro-criminal. They are pro-chaos. They're anti, law-abiding citizens. Unless, I'm sure they can hustle in a hurry to deal out justice on somebody that they don't particularly like if they break the law. But otherwise, no, we're not going to impose the same principle on this is our town now. Mm-hmm. So, this is the idea that he's doing this he's just kind of stupid and dumb and, oh, golly gee, shuffling his feet. No, he's doing it on purpose. Okay?
Yes.
Defund the police, don't fund the police, however you want to put it, it's still the same. And it's not with good intention. It's with very bad intention. Where am I wrong, Joey?
Well, no, you're kind of repeating what I was laying out myself. De facto defunding of the police. And one thing I didn't get into yet is, can you imagine, because I think it's coming, I think Tuberville and Reed, but Reed perhaps sees Tuberville as a perfect foil.
Sure.
Not only for local politics, but perhaps even for national attention.
Yep.
I could just see the fights between those two, even choreographed WWE style fights with WrestleMania coming up, brother. I could see a lot of that going on when Tuberville becomes governor of Reed State.
Tuberville will power slam him, dude. Inverted suplex.
I imagine we're going to have, 1960 style, we shall overcome marching down Dexter Avenue type crap, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it coming, but in the meantime, there's a job that has to be done, and that is we cannot just abandon our streets to, lawlessness. It's just the job's got to be done. And so, if it pays a political price, well, on the national level, but I think here locally, people will be like standing up and cheering for a change.
Well, I think the irony.
Look, I know too many. I know too many of my, of the black population that have, they fleeing. They're leaving Montgomery too.
Oh yeah. The irony.
No light bullets on top of their house.
Right. Well, the irony of it is this, and I think Joey, you just hit it. Steve Reed has national level aspirations. He'll leave here after the place is completely just defunct. And that's, I think, the sad part of all of it.
Well, I got to run. I got to hit a break.
All right, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
a lot.
Papa B.
272-9228. We'll be right back. I'm trying to get Austin Branco on the other side of this break.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
When your tax refund comes, put it on the floor and walk on it. Revitalize the look and feel of your home with new floors from Prattville Carpet. With faster and better service than the big box stores and luxury vinyl planks starting as low as $4.99 per square foot. You'll enjoy that tax refund turned flooring every single day.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Dial 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The River Region's first and only News Talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Gotta say, some of these late allergies starting to sneak up on me. Well, let's see if our regular Monday guest, we have Austin Branco on line one here. Hey, Austin, with Invista Advisors, folks. Austin, how you doing today?
Oh, having a great Monday, Joey, but also susceptible to spring allergies. We did that Cloverdale Music in the Park yesterday with all the kids, and man, my allergies were terrible this morning, so I had to take my Zyrtec just so I could function.
Yeah, I've been powering through myself, but it's even been catching me. But hey, let's talk about how's this blockade of the Strait of Hormuz affecting markets right now?
Yeah, markets don't love it, especially with the response from the UK Prime Minister and the response from the Iran regime. UK not lending support, and then the Iran regime basically saying, if you blockade our ports, there will be, retribution and some type of, violence. And so here we are. I have no doubt that, he's got the U.S. best interest at heart, but the markets, on the other hand, are very dissatisfied with the tactic. The volatility index is up sharply this morning, and most asset classes are down. We're getting some type of stabilization midday here in the S&P and the NASDAQ. They're all kind of floating back to even, but until we find concrete resolution in the Strait, particularly for oil transportation, it's going to be really volatile. And so, I'm not a huge fan of volatility, neither are clients. Now is not the time to panic, but it is certainly something to keep your eye on.
Well, and if folks want to become a client, if folks want to work with y'all to get a full financial plan going, how can they do so?
Yeah, so just give us a call. We help in anything in the world of portfolio management or business valuations. If you need help with taxes and accounting, we've got a great partner firm we work with, and just give us a call at 334-387-0094, and someone on our team will get you taken care of. We'd love to have you come in and help us get you a plan together.
And folks, when you call them up at 387-0094, be sure to mention you heard Austin Branco on the radio with Joey Clark.
Awesome. Thank you, Joey, and you have a great week.
You too, Austin. Again, that's
The
Austin
opinions
Branco.
voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Yeah, the markets definitely don't like a major oil throughput just being blocked for the time being, with the counter threats coming from the Iranians. And the next hour we'll get into maybe what happened in the room there in Pakistan, how some of this this block will work, how this blockade will work.
Yep.
And let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Several days.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man.
Well, you're talking about our good mayor. He is a pseudo-intellectual. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. He'll tell you he has a degree from Morehouse and Vanderbilt, and then when he wants to play the card, you know the card, the old race card, that he's the first black mayor and that everybody's picking on him, and that if he wasn't black, that things would be different. And he even said one time recently that he was born into this family. If he hadn't been born into this family, that he would have gone another way, and he'd have used his brains to make a lot of money. And it's always poor Stephen. And when they wouldn't pass his ordinance, and he pouted and got mad and said, "I'm going to send businesses to Birmingham, and it's going to hurt Montgomery if we don't pass this ordinance." But you can't have it both ways, Mayor. You can't say that Montgomery, according to him, is better. He's brought more businesses to Montgomery than anybody in history of Montgomery. So which is it? And he says crime 2 years in a row. Violent crime is down 2 years in a row. Then he says the governor's concealed carry law is causing crime to go up.
And he doesn't mention the whole, Metro task force with the county and with the state helping out.
Right.
No, he's a great politician. He knows how to play that card when he wants to play it. And he said from day one he wanted to do away with the old Montgomery, and he's well on his way to that. He dismantled the Montgomery Police Department. We've got a new flag, and the next thing is we're going to have a new badge for the police officers. They're going to be wearing a different uniform, all to serve Emperor Reed. And when the new governor comes in, just like the other caller said, and just like you said, you're going to see major fireworks, because he wants to play the card, I'm the poor black mayor up against the white injustice system led by one Governor Tubman. He's going to play that card for everything it's worth. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, Simpler Days. Yeah, maybe we'll see that one day portrayed on stage at Alabama Shakespeare Festival. We got to hit this top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. U.S. Central Command has begun a blockade of all Iranian ports and coastal areas. It says that it will be enforced impartially against vessels from all countries. No ships will be passing through that originated in Iran, and that's to give the U.S. more control over the oil supply and pressure Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has unleashed a long tirade against Pope Leo XIV. In a lengthy social media post, the president lashed out at the American-born Pope after the Catholic Church leader criticized the U.S. war against Iran. The president said he didn't think that Pope Leo was, quote, doing a very good job, and that he caters to the radical left. The spring home buying season off to a sluggish start. The National Association of Realtors reports used home sales fell in March at their slowest pace in 9 months. On Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 22 points. This is SRN News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled. And it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives. And MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Our amazing string of warm, storm-free days continues apparently for several more days. Today, I've got the high temperature up to about 86 with partial sunshine. Mostly clear tonight. Overnight low 56. Then edging closer to the upper 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good bit of sunshine each day. If we get to 90 or above Friday and Saturday, that is close to record territory. No storm systems in the foreseeable future. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASC Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate through your October statement. Visit ASC Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. 4 people were killed in 7 separate shootings between Friday afternoon and Sunday morning in Montgomery. The Montgomery Police Department called a press conference Sunday afternoon to address the deadly violence. Chief Grabois stated none of the shootings were related, but the victims and suspects in all 4 homicides knew each other. Legislation requiring the Montgomery Police Department to increase its number of officers or face takeover by the state has failed to pass. The bill would have allowed the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency to assume control of the Montgomery Police Department if they were unable to meet staffing requirements. Mayor Stephen Reed criticized the measure as overreach from the state. MPD reportedly has about 230 officers, understaffed by roughly 40%. Montgomery police have made an arrest following a fatal Friday afternoon shooting. The incident happened near I-65 in the 1000 block of West South Boulevard, where 28-year-old Martavius Langford was shot and killed. 30-year-old Adrian Jackson has been arrested and charged with capital murder in the case. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm here as Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. So let's get into a little bit of the breakdown of what happened in Pakistan. Because you had J.D. Vance, you had Steve Witkoff, you had Jared Kushner, and I'm sure several others. But U.S. negotiators expected the talks with Iran to be a brief table-setting meeting to tee up future talks. Instead, it turned into continuous negotiations over 21 hours. Vance went into the negotiations recognizing that the U.S. and Iran have interacted little over the last 50 years, a dynamic that could foster mistrust and misperceptions. One of his primary goals was to reach mutual understanding of respective objectives and negotiating space. The official giving the reporters the insight, characterized the talks as tough, but said by the end there was a friendly and productive exchange of proposals. It was clear to Vance and the U.S. delegation, the official added, that the Iranians did not understand the core U.S. objective, that any deal be anchored by an agreement that Iran would never obtain a nuclear weapon. Throughout the talks, Vance tried to correct the misunderstanding, and he left Islamabad after having delivered a best and final offer to Iran that he believed should be fair and acceptable to all parties. Vance also used the talks to probe the counterparty's own assessment of their positions and came away with the conclusion that they had misperceived their negotiating strength, that the Iranians believe they have leverage that the U.S. believes they lack. This is why Vance left Islamabad after having delivered the final offer. The Iranians need to recognize that the realities on the ground do not reflect the assumptions they held when they arrived at the negotiations before they will be ready to entertain a serious offer. Vance has said that a deal remains on the table and that it's up to Iran to accept. Meanwhile, in consultation with Trump, the national security team has devised a plan to break the Iranians' closure of the Strait of Hormuz. They also aim to counter the notion that the Strait can deflect from the core U.S. issue, which is Iran's nuclear program. Vance is pragmatic but not naive, apparently, according to this official, in how he dealt in the meeting. He was hopeful of making a deal, but over the 21 hours of negotiation, he also probed Iran's vulnerabilities, and now Trump will test them. Interesting.
Yes.
Kind of a fact-finding mission as well as a negotiation. It's on Iran, the official said, to recognize the reality of the U.S. position. The U.S. and Iran did not reach agreements on the following points: for Iran to end all uranium enrichment, to dismantle all nuclear enrichment facilities in Iran, to retrieve highly enriched uranium from Iran, to accept a broader peace, security, and de-escalation framework that includes regional allies, for Iran to end funding for its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, for Iran to fully open the Strait of Hormuz, charging no tolls for passage. Trump very much wants the conflict to be over and behind him, but he has demonstrated a willingness to restart it if necessary.
My understanding is that the delegation head from Iran made it clear that there's no plans for any future talks. So leaving it on the table, they made it clear. And they also, something that wasn't in that article, made it clear that they still do not recognize the right for Israel to exist. So that's all you need to know.
The U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, though, that's what's been implemented starting today, would cost Iran approximately $276 million a day in lost exports and disrupt $159 million a day in imports, a combined economic damage of $435 million a day, or $13 billion a month.
Right.
Over 90% of Iran's $109.7 billion in annual trade transits the Persian Gulf. Oil, gas account for 80% of the government export earnings and 23% of GDP. Kharg Island alone generates approximately $53 billion a year. Or, as was noted in Time magazine, $78 billion a year in energy revenue.
Yep.
And like you go through where it's the crude oil numbers, petrochemicals.
Yep. Fertilizers,
non-oil exports, right?
Steel. They were the ninth largest exporter of steel, but they've had most of their steel industry destroyed by Israel.
Yeah, Iran's options outside the Strait are negligible. JASC, the much-touted bypass, operates at a fraction of its $1 million, or excuse me, the design capacity. So, I mean, this is Trump essentially having his Trump card with the blockade. The matter is, though, how easy is this to implement? You were mentioning in the first hour a little bit of that. But I'd imagine you send destroyers through the Strait of Hormuz. It's not just minesweepers that we're talking about.
Right. What they did is they did what's called a reconnaissance by force, which was an exercise to show that the boats could go through and whether or not a tanker captain will follow what a destroyer did as countermeasures on it is yet to be seen. But the idea was to show that they can go through at will and flaunt the blockade. I mean, the closing of the straits. The bigger question is this: they have 3 littoral class warships they have a very unique anti-mine technology. It's a torpedo-looking device that goes out. It finds these on the seafloor, on the midpoints, limpet mines, mark mines, all those, and can kind of create a path corridor that would be safe. But right now, what's interesting is America's saying, no, we're shutting it down completely to put the pinch, I think, on not only Iran, but the states that trade there to put more pressure on Iran. So
Iran's parliament speaker, Bagher
Ghalibaf, I think it is.
Ghalibaf or something.
Ghalibaf, okay, yeah. The parliament speaker.
Yeah, chief negotiator. He's mocked the U.S. plan to blockade the Strait, warning Americans that may soon fall for today's fuel prices. Enjoy the current pump figures with the so-called blockade. Soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. He accompanied this message with a mathematical note suggesting compounding effects from oil market disruptions tied to the geopolitical situation. The comment appears to reference the expected ripple effects on energy markets if tensions around the Strait intensify. But as CENTCOM has clarified, the blockade will be enforced against vessels of all nations traveling to or from Iranian ports in coastal areas, including ports on the Arabian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. CENTCOM said the measure would not affect vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz to or from non-Iranian ports, adding that freedom of navigation through the waterway would not be impeded. Mariners were advised to monitor notice to mariners broadcasts and contact U.S. naval forces on bridge-to-bridge Channel 16 when operating in the Gulf of Oman and approaches to the Strait of Hormuz. So we'll see. It actually might strangely pick up traffic.
It very well may. And I think that right now, as you watch the markets, and I know that Austin can speak of this, it's regional hedging going on. And it seems to me that I saw a very interesting post yesterday from Morgan Murphy, of all people, who said, hey, straits are closed, but let's drill, baby. And he showed all the critical points of oil that are there. Because let's remember, when Trump left his last term in office, we were the largest exporter of oil in the world. So
there you go. Now we got to tell folks as part of the program, I got to do it, but I kind of want to do it too.
Yeah, let's go.
Montgomery Men's Health. I'm a client. It's made my life better.
Awesome.
Like gotten the testosterone up for
great,
years now, and you just feel so much better across
the
board. But especially if you're a guy in his 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're feeling wiped out when you wake up, you're losing confidence across the board, and job you've been working for years, you're second guessing yourself. You're also starting to see that waistline creep and muscle mass loss. Though you're not eating worse, you're not working out less, but those things are happening nonetheless.
Right.
And your bedroom confidence is slipping. Well, they can help you out there at Montgomery Men's Health. And it's not just low T or ED or performance issues, but at Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro, you also, if you want to get into the peptide game, like an 80 Plus or some Orlin or so many other options, so many fixes that you didn't even know exist probably. And what's great is instead of dealing with some online place where you're talking to a chat bot or whatever, and you're not sure exactly what you're getting, you actually get to meet people, in-person care. And labs get done quickly, blood work, plus a consultation. That first one's only $99, and they can create for you a personalized treatment plan depending on what's bedeviling you.
Sure.
And a lot of patients, I know I feel great, but a lot of guys say they're in 50s and 60s feel decades younger.
Awesome.
Getting the confidence back across life and in the bedroom, which that's all right.
It's always a good
So come on, brother. Call up Montgomery Men's Health. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Call them at 440-3663 to make an appointment. That's 440-3663. Or you can always book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health for every man in every season of life. Now I want to move away from the politics a little bit.
Yep. Let's do that.
And, well, Artemis came back successful.
Yes. Yeah. I saw.
Successful splashdown and everything. And here is Victor Glover, the pilot.
Yeah.
This is just a short clip where, again, he's reiterating his faith. And I shared on Facebook, not on Facebook, on X, a photo of him with his whole beautiful family. He's got multiple children, beautiful wife. Like it's just like this guy is winning across the board.
He's a poster child.
Here's a message from Victor.
When this started on April 3rd, I wanted to thank God in public, and I want to thank God again, because even bigger than my challenge trying to describe what we went through, the gratitude of seeing what we saw, doing what we did, and being with who I was with, it's too big to just be in one body. When we started
brother.
on April 3rd.
Amen.
Listen, he's emotional about it too. That's incredible. Yeah.
They all were.
Yeah.
But now I want to go to this is Christina Koch, one of the mission specialists.
Okay.
And she's definitely somebody captioned this public speaking skills 10 out of 10. And this is a pretty good presentation, but self-effacing. And then, well, after this mission, she's learned a thing or two. Let's listen in.
What makes a crew? What is different about a crew than a team? And I was like, I got this. Opened my mouth confidently to tell them everything I knew about being a crewmate. And everything that came out of my mouth was completely without value. I was like, yeah, crews, they're in space and they work together, but they eat together too. So, they're a crew. And boats have crews, you're a crew if you're on a boat. Helps if you have a paddle. That'll be good. That'll make you a crew. But the last 10 days, I've gotten a little bit of a better answer on that question. A crew is people or, a group that is in it all the time, no matter what, that is stroking together every minute with the same purpose, that is willing to sacrifice silently for each other, that gives grace, that holds accountable. A crew has the same cares and the same needs, and a crew is inescapably, beautifully, dutifully linked. So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had. And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe. Uh-oh. So I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me. But there's one new thing I know, and that is planet Earth, you are a crew. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's good.
You can tell her getting emotional there. They
Yep.
go in for a joint hug, but
Yep.
that's not the last of these clips. We got another one here.
Okay.
This is from astronaut Reed Wiseman, and a little shorter than Christina Koch, but he gets the point. And again, they were kind of cracking each other up in humorous and in other emotional ways. Listen in. This is, again, Reed Wiseman of the crew, Artemis 2.
This was not easy. Being 200,000 plus miles away from home, like before you launch, it feels like it's the greatest dream on earth. And when you're out there, you just want to get back to your families and your friends. It's a special thing to be a human, and it's a special thing to be on planet Earth. Thank you.
Jerry Pond.
That's a crew.
And I can't imagine how connected those four will be to one another for the rest of their life. Too.
I think it's a spiritual experience too. I mean,
oh yeah,
their faith was very clearly evident in the comments they made. Powerful.
Amen. Yeah, so it's that was one of those moments where, unfortunately, this is happening, where whether it's political season coming up, you notice in all the races how there's a huge undecided number, and all these folks that have been in the race forever and spending all this money are still kind of neck and neck.
Yep.
And you notice also, like, you bring up the, say, Trump bashing the Pope, and a lot of folks on my Facebook are like, I don't even know what's been happening. And then other folks just go blissfully around life or whatever. And I think, unfortunately, that incredible thing that was done by that crew on Artemis 2 was siloed off into just another pipeline of algorithm.
Agreed.
So applying to political races, everybody's so in their own curated, or maybe it's been curated for them, algorithm, so conditioned that it's hard to know what's going on in the world. We seem very much more fragmented than ever before, despite the tools to connect like ever before. And that's one thing. And also, I think folks look at this and go, yeah, I've seen a rocket go off before. Who cares? I've seen a splashdown before. Who cares? How quickly people become
callous to things.
They're easily impressed and then they're over it.
You know, I think for your generation and my son's generation and Laura's, you made a comment. We are divided, even though we have all of these technological outlets and tools. That's kind of the byproduct of what I call the digital divide.
Yeah.
It becomes a vapor lock for people. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what to take in, and they just disengage and they tune out. And that's sad to me, because this could be something great for everyone, but that remains to be seen. But you're right. I think that the Artemis mission was kind of second tier to a lot of other things going on, which is quite unfortunate. But.
Yeah. And I mean, again, that's just the way of the world. And I want to now try to find real quick. Did you see Jared Isaacman was essentially saying, he's now the administrator there, NASA administrator under President Trump, saying they've learned a lot. We're now going to apply what we learned on Artemis 2.
Yep.
This is the golden age of space exploration.
Did you see him with the recovery crew? He went and shook every hand of every sailor, of every aviator that was helping bring in the crew. I thought that guy's engaged at the micro level on it, which is good.
Yeah, it's really incredible to see this guy too, with like be in touch, responding in real time to a lot of accounts and folks seeing that splashdown, and they hope to break new records. They hope to, like, this is just the beginning, like I said, of a new golden age. So we'll see it unfold if we keep our eyes open and we actually watch. Some of us we're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Join us, won't you? We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here in the River region, thousands of hardworking folks will be buying a home, some for the first time. How do you know you are buying the right home? It starts with research. A buyer's agent can help you in your search, providing a list of homes you may not be aware of or know about. At the same time, a meeting with a local lender to find out exactly what you qualify for and how much it will cost at closing and monthly. A list of needs and wants provided to your agent will help them locate properties that match those needs. An example would be bedrooms, baths, school zones, floor plan requests will also help. Start shopping and look at homes and compare and make a list of pluses and minuses for each home. Compare them with your agent to narrow the field. After you work out the contract, appraisals and inspections come next, and then the closing. For more details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883. That's 221-2883.
The employees of Adams Drugs would like to thank you for trusting us with your health care in 2025. We look forward to serving you and your family in 2026. You will continue to enjoy the same services such as immunizations, compounding, medication therapy management, delivery service, and wellness clinics, to name a few. Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Visit our Emily B. gift shop and find everything from Tyler candles to scout bags. Gift wrapping is available. If you have not visited Adams Drugs and experienced the award-winning customer service, we ask you to consider us for your prescription care in 2026. We have 12 convenient locations to serve you in the River region. 8 in Montgomery, 1 in Wetumpka, Prattville, Millbrook, and Pine Level, Marbury. Please find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, this came out a few days ago. A U.S. appeals court, this was on Friday, declared unconstitutional a nearly 158-year-old federal ban on home distilling, calling it an unnecessary and improper means for Congress to exercise its power to tax. Finally, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans, of all places, ruled in favor of the nonprofit Hobby Distillers Association and 4 of its 1,300 members. Mm-hmm. They argued that people should be free to distill spirits at home, whether as a hobby or for personal consumption, including in one instance to create an apple pie vodka recipe. Nice. All right. The ban was part of a law passed during Reconstruction in July 1868, in part to thwart liquor tax evasion, and subjected violators to up to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Writing for a 3-judge panel, Circuit Judge Edith Holman Jones said the ban actually reduced tax revenue by preventing distilling in the first place, unlike laws that regulated the manufacture and labeling of distilled spirits on which the government could collect taxes. She also said that under the government's logic, Congress could criminalize virtually any in-home activity that might escape from tax collectors, including remote work and home-based businesses. Without any limiting principle, the government's theory would violate this court's obligation to read the Constitution carefully to avoid creating a general federal authority akin to the police power, the judge wrote. The U.S. Department of Justice has had no immediate comment. Another defendant, the Treasury Department's Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Devin Watkins, a lawyer representing the Hobby Distillers Association, in an interview called the ruling an important decision about the limits of federal power. Andrew Grossman, who argued the nonprofit's appeal, called the decision an important victory for individual liberty that lets the plaintiffs pursue their passion to distill fine beverages in their home. I look forward to sampling their output. I don't know if he said it that way, but that's how I said it.
Well, you've sampled mine, and I do it in open defiance of the law. It's my God-given right to do such things. And, you know, it's funny because when you think about history, you know, there was something called the Whiskey Rebellion, right? Yeah. Remember that? That was a big deal. And the thing is, it has stayed archaic like this where you cannot distill. And
what do you want to tell folks about how you do this as a hobby? Because I know you can talk for days.
Oh, whippoorwill. So my grandfather, Joey, was on my mom's side. Ben Cole was a no-crap real shiner. He was affiliated somewhat with Heaven Hill Distillery, where he learned to trade. And then down in Berea, Kentucky, and down in Russell County, Kentucky, we had 2 stills. And I helped him every summer. I lived in Dayton, Ohio, but as a young boy, I would spend the summers with him. And I'd run wood. I'd get yeast. I'd help him get water from the wells, and we would make this whiskey. And before he died, he gave me his recipe, and he said, "Son, I want you to have this. Should you ever find an interest in it, you know what to do. And I did. And the joke with all the guys at the cigar store that are, close to me, and you know who they are, the joke was, what is the over-under on Troy blowing up the still in the first 3 weeks? And there was one incident that was quite close. But at any rate, I've got about a 30-gallon still, and I have several hundreds of gallons of whiskey that I've got put up. And here's what's interesting about it. I sourced fifth generation heirloom Creek Indian corn from Pike County, and then I get water from Highland Home outside of a friend's property that has these limestone hill cliffs, and it's about 7.1, 7.2 pH, which is perfect for whiskey. And then I acquired this very rare yeast from Denmark that Buffalo Trace uses, and I've made my whiskey, and it's come out pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's very sippable. It comes out about 84.5 proof, and the thing about it is, Joey, it takes me back to those days where as I got older, Joey, and about teenager, I used to be embarrassed by the fact that my papa was a hillbilly making whiskey, and I was barefoot down there in the summers. And now it come back, and I realize what a blessing that was in my life and time. So yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah.
Amen. Oh, look at this. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is from east of the Rockies.
Oh, what you got over there?
The Ragamuffin Gospel by Brennan Manning.
Nice.
And he said that this is something I should read, and of course I will, East.
Of course you will.
Looking forward to reading this. Very cool. Yeah, are you missing the joy of grace? Like some of the blurbs on the back, I found deep comfort in realizing that Jesus loves me, even me, a ragamuffin, just as I am and not as I should be, that he accepts me, though I am most unacceptable. I came to this book hungry. I tasted and saw afresh that our God truly is good, and that he is, after all, for us. That's from a musician named Michael Card on the back. I thought this is a thank you, East of the Rockies. I will definitely read this. A lot of people giving me gifts all of a sudden.
People like you.
Anyway, we got to hit a break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. Took me a second.
Madeline and the crew, yeah.
Yeah, Madeline, Kim Williams. They are Madeline Cannon, Kim Williams, ready to help you out whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance that current home, especially if you're a veteran. They know the latest with the VA mortgage programs, which are the best deal ever, the best deal in this market by far. So if you are looking to, say you're a veteran, take advantage of some of these benefits, like no down payment purchases, 100% cash out refinance deals, it's pretty amazing. And even if you're not a veteran, they're going to get you the best possible deal. And don't waste your time with flashy mailers or spam calls or 1-800-lenders or using the online mortgage calculator or like, well, but they said this in the news. No. Sit down. Great local folks, the great local pros when it comes to the mortgage market. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. And heck, it doesn't have to be in Alabama. They also, of course, serve Alabama, but also Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee.
Right, yeah.
So maybe you're moving or know folks in those states that need some help
beach home
with some great local folks. Check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. Just call them direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
This is Rooster.
Hey, Rooster, what's up?
I just want to talk to Troy about his whiskey making.
All right.
It's legal now, Rooster. I can talk about it.
Are we on the air now?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, I want to get a quart. What are you charging for a quart, man?
Well, you know what? I give it. I kind of give it away. I'll get if you want to. Come by sometime. I'll give you. I'll be happy to share some with you and see what you think.
Go by the cigar shop.
Yeah, go by the cigar shop. That's really, Joey, great idea. I'm up there on Fridays at the Cloverdale Pipes and Cigars on Fridays from about after the show on. If you ever want to stop by there at Cloverdale Pipes and Cigars, I've always got a little bit of juice with me. I'd be happy to give you some and see what you think.
Okay, Cloverdale Pipes and Cigars on Friday?
It's right there at Country Club Plaza area at Carter Hill and Mulberry. I think it's Mulberry. Yeah, so right there. Yeah, come by on this Friday. I'll be there if you can. If not, any other Friday. But I'd be happy to give you some.
Okay, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
look here now.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, brother. Yeah.
I got two more items. Number one, what's the difference between liberty and freedom? Because everybody seems to say the two words separately. They'll say freedom and liberty like they are like they're different or something. Can the Von Mises boy over here answer that question?
Joey, you wrote about this, didn't you? You talked about liberty.
Well, I was talking about it, and
yeah,
it's the being in communion with
right
God Himself. But
Free will.
liberty's more like freedom from like oppressive social, like political stuff, and freedom's the broader personal concept, thinking without constraints, and then I would add to that like becoming part of God's family.
Okay, what about the word libertas?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
from.
Libertas is the Latin version, and you got to remember that freedom and liberty in the older times was much different than it is today. It was usually reserved to a select group of citizens, but yeah, it's an evolution, I think, and I think Joey hit it best when he said that true liberty is free will when God gave us that on our divine creation
And choosing to do
choosing
the
to do
good
stuff.
and God's will with that free will. But then, I don't know, like if you get into libertas and you get into the goddess it represented, and I think you said the word libertine, then you're getting into more demonic, satanic ideas of the full extent of the laws, do what you will.
True.
Right, but that's why I was asking, why does everybody always, I mean, everyone, every program I ever hear on the radio or TV is always freedom and liberty. There's like two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, that bothers me.
Yeah, it's this distinction that's kind of gone out of vogue, but I can accept it.
But anyway, here's another thing. Okay, you were talking earlier today about those amendments.
Yeah.
To the Alabama Constitution.
Yeah, the two that are on the statewide ones that are out there. Yeah.
I guess I haven't looked at them. I have no idea. I'm not even on. I don't even do computers. I'm off the grid and out in the woods, and I just got a flip phone. I don't do all that digital stuff. I stay out of it. But anyway, so I wanted to ask you, do you know that whether they have actually asked for the permission from the people to do an amendment?
No, I think they went through the other process than the other one that you cited the other day with Andrew Sorrell on here.
Yeah, they just do whatever the hell they want, and they ain't got no idea, and they don't care what the law is. They've been doing this crap for a long time, Joey. You need to get your copy of the Alabama Constitution now and see what I'm telling you.
Well, I'm looking at a sample ballot here, and the last sentence on both of these amendments is the constitutional authority for passage of Amendment 1 is set forth in accordance with Section 284 and 285 of the Constitution of Alabama, 2022, and the election laws of the state of Alabama.
Right, they leave out Section 286. You got to do 286 before you can do any of the other ones.
Are you sure about that?
And, huh?
Are you sure about that, or is 286 another option? Is it the only way, or the restrictive way, or is 284 or 285 also acceptable?
Okay, smart guy. Look here. You got to look at the first word in the title. It says mode. It's not plural. It's only one way. And there's 4 steps, and they never do the first 2. And that's what's going on now. And the first 2 are to get permission to do it. And then the last 2 are the doing of it. And that's what it's like.
Yeah, but does that only apply to 286, or does that apply to the other ones as well?
Huh?
The process of a convention in 286, the permission that you're talking about, does that only apply to a convention under 286, or why does it apply to 284 and 285?
It applies to all of them. It's just one method. It's not 2 different ways. It's just one way. And there's 4 steps. The first 2 have to do with getting permission from the people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second 2 have to do with actually getting permission for it. And then the governor don't have to sign it because then it becomes law. And how come we got 1,000 of them? How many, is that how many we really got?
Yeah, I lost count.
You know, that's democracy run amok. That's insane. We don't have a republic. This, the Constitution of the United States says that The United States government guarantees to every state in this union a Republican form of government. Well, we ain't got that. Well, we done went through Reconstruction, then had our asses kicked by the Yankees and all that. And what have we got now? Look at our system. We got thousands of amendments. Come on, man. That's like Guatemala or El Salvador or some other third world country where you can't depend on the government to stay the same more than 1 year. Don't you understand what I'm telling you, young man?
Yeah, no, a nation with too many laws often falls into tyranny.
Sure.
But and it gets so convoluted, it becomes a big old bramble patch, big old thicket of thorns.
Well, here's what they're doing. They're dirtying up the baby, and they're going to throw it out with the bathwater and claim they want to make a brand new one. And do you trust them bastards to write us a new constitution?
Not as much as I don't trust the next guy. But I appreciate the call, Rooster, and
all right.
Hey, I'm worried if I give you too much whiskey, you might overthrow the government, man. All right, brother. Well, I'll see you on Friday if you can come by there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a veteran too, man.
Well, thank you for your service, Rooster. Thank you for your service, brother. It takes a bunch of us, doesn't it?
Hey, I was in the most dangerous job the Air Force had. The radar man.
Yeah, not good. Hey, how's your testicular health? Is it okay? These radars can be strong.
Dude, I can't hardly contain myself.
All right, buddy.
Well, thanks, Rooster. Appreciate the call. Anyway, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that. Because each year, thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you'd just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't write them. I just read them.
At Blue Water Broadcasting, we believe great advertising starts with relationships. That's why so many local business owners trust us, not just for radio, but for digital too. If you're already running digital advertising and you're not seeing results, it may be time to explore your option. Our team takes the time to understand your business, then builds custom campaigns using a multi-channel conversion-focused approach. So whether it's digital display, social media, or you need help increasing your online presence, Blue Water Broadcasting can help. Before your next campaign, let's have a conversation. Visit bluewaterbroadcasting.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Truckers, listen up. A $2,500 sign-on bonus only at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Work for a company that puts God and family first. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, work for the best in the business.
Our amazing string of warm, storm-free days continues apparently for several more days. Today, I've got the high temperature up to about 86 with partial sunshine. Mostly clear tonight, overnight low 56. Then edging closer to the upper 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good bit of sunshine each day. If we get to 90 or above Friday and Saturday, that is close to record territory. No storm systems in the foreseeable future. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Few folks, I think Sam in the comment section was getting a kick out of Rooster called me a smart guy.
Smart feller.
Anyway, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to the phones and talk to Cooter. Hey, Cooter, how are you?
Hey, man, it's a long time no talk.
I know. Too long.
What's the thing that fellow knows with you every day? I never did pronounce his last name.
Troy Carrico.
Yeah. Yep.
Carrico.
Yep.
Man, I appreciate your service.
Thank you, brother.
I listen to all the things you've done. I stand here in amazement.
Come on, man. Listen, what I did paled in comparison to what some of my other brothers and stuff did. But yeah, thank you. It was a calling. God designed me to destroy things. My wife says you can't spell destroy without TROY at the end of it. So there you go.
I did 20 years at the Air Force.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm amazed at you. That's a long time, brother. Thank you for your service.
A long time ago. Hey, that's the reason I'm calling. This guy that just on the air was talking about being a radar man.
Yeah.
I was radar for 20 years. Radar maintenance, repair, installations, that kind of stuff. But can you give me that guy's text number or telephone number or something?
Rooster?
Is that who he was?
I think it was Rooster, right, Joey?
Yeah. If you hold on, I got to hit this break and I got to get in touch with Michael Cohen, but I can give it to you here real quick.
I got a delivery just came in. I got to run. I got to get in touch with you later.
Yeah, call back. I'll get you that number. Good hearing from Cooter there.
Been a while?
Yeah, been a second. He's been a first-time caller for hundreds of times. Yeah,
that's great.
So we got to hit this break real quick. Hopefully have Michael Cohen
on
the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Starting a business shouldn't feel overwhelming. At Janikin Gulf Coast, we give you a clear, proven path to ownership. You receive guaranteed initial counts, local support, and the training you need to succeed from day one. For over 35 years, we've helped people turn steady careers into thriving businesses, and you could be next. Start your journey today at JanikinCleans.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Oh, life is real good. I got Troy Carrico hanging out in the studio with me.
Hey, Troy.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
So tell us about the Cohen's experience for folks out there who haven't heard us talk before.
Well, the Cohen's experience is one part of it is that we're not just here to move boxes. We actually want to help you make the right choice for whatever it is. If you're looking for appliances, if you're looking for televisions, sometimes we've had customers come in and they want this humongous television, but they've got a very small area to put it in, and then they're going to be very close to it. And we've had to recommend a smaller set. Sometimes we recommend a larger set, but it's all dependent on the customer and their environment and what they're trying to do with it. So that to me is the best part of the Cohen's experience is trying to make sure that the customer gets the right item for whatever they're doing so that they're happy with it in the years to come.
Well, nobody's going to beat y'all on price, but and y'all always beat everybody else when it comes to that service, especially after the sale.
Well, that's right. I mean, we're fortunate that we have Michael Jacks and we have Ruben to do the appliance installs. We got an excellent delivery crew. I see all the 5-star reviews coming through for my delivery crew. A lot of them even incorporate pictures with the customer and their new stove or refrigerator. So, it's fun for everybody, and it's a testament to everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Well, folks, you can always learn more at thinkowens.com, but there's nothing like actually getting by there, stopping by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Or maybe you already know what you want some help with. Just call them direct at 277-8890. And however you get in touch or stop by, be sure to mention to them you heard Michael on the air with that Joey Clark fella.
And it was a Monday, so it was with Troy.
Yeah,
that's Mondays with Troy.
Wednesday is opportunity for Eddie.
That's so funny. Right. It sounds like a sitcom. Mondays with Troy.
Yeah, Mondays with Troy
and Mike.
So y'all come see us and let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Appreciate you, Michael. Talk to you again soon.
Outstanding.
Again, Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Always appreciate his time. Now, this is a quick clip.
What do we got?
But Stephen Miller, I haven't heard from this cat.
Yeah, he's been quiet lately, hasn't he? Yeah.
Well, they're about to roll out what they're claiming is going to be this anti-fraud measure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if we can get out of the sandbox of the Middle East and actually solve that problem and focus back on, the United States of America, well, here's what's coming.
Now, what you're going to see with President Trump's task force that he put Vice President Vance in charge of is increasing scope of raids, prosecutions, enforcement actions, and convictions. The month right now that we're in is going to be the beginning of this large ramp up. In the near weeks, you're going to see more and more enforcement, more and more results, and you're going to see more and more delivery of justice for the American people who've been robbed blind.
So forceful as always from Stephen Miller. And I'll believe it when I see it. I'm a doubting Thomas in this regard.
When it comes to any repercussions of all these hearings and all the senatorial inquiries, nothing ever happens.
And then did you see that Eric Swalwell has ended his campaign for governor?
Yeah, I saw that.
For California governor.
I saw that, yeah.
He says on X, I'm suspending my campaign for governor. To my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I'm deeply sorry for the mistakes and judgment I've made in my past. I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made, but that's my fight, not a campaign's. Ooh, and a lot of people came out.
Yeah, I saw Pelosi and some other.
And Elon Musk responded saying, bro, you should definitely fight those quote unquote false allegations, especially all the videos of you doing weird crap with hookers.
What?
Yeah, it was all over X.
What?
Like he's in a room with multiple prostitutes and ladies of the evening. And at one point, like grabs one of them by the neck to like pull her back and kiss her and like feeling her up and stuff. And it's just, there's other dudes in the room too. And it's just.
That's kind of strange, isn't it? That's California. That's the West Coast.
And a lot of staffers came out accusing him of stuff, including CNN interviewing the one woman who described a pretty awful sexual assault allegation not tantamount to the R word. And it's I really do believe, and some people, because I think they really do get on their knees in the morning and pray to God.
Sure.
But there is something about the political game.
Yeah.
Especially some elected officials.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have your guard up, man, the demons will get their hooks in
they are.
you.
They prey
one way or the other.
They prey on the weak and on the vain and all the
drugs, sex,
it's all there.
money, like all sorts of ways. They just get like, you ain't in charge of you anymore.
Nope.
And but yet you keep the fire of ambition keeps burning bright, and it's like, I won't get caught. Like, how did he has all this stuff, all these past mistakes, as he admits, as well as the false allegations in his head, on his conscience, on his heart, and yet he's like, you know what I should do? Run for governor of California.
Well, that's a perfect prerequisite for him.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's just,
when in Rome, do as the Romans do, Joey.
And I don't know. This couldn't happen to a nicer guy, and I hope he finds peace at the end of the day. I've honestly quit the political game. Go do something else, man.
That's what they get,
because you got a family, you got children. It's not too late for you to make up with them.
They get addicted to that rush, I guess.
But then this is, of course, the same guy that remember. This is from many moons ago, all the way back in 2019. U.S. Congressman Eric Swalwell accused of dropping massive fart live on TV after mystery sound shocks viewers. Fartgate. It was a whole thing for a week where he was on Chris Matthews' show. And as he's talking, you heard this.
And he goes.
And some people were like, it's Matthews. He was moving a coffee mug on the counter. And it's like.
He goes, and Swalwell goes, hey, that sounds like an Orange County barking spider.
He wishes he had stepped on a frog.
That's terrible,
stepped on a
man.
duck.
That's terrible.
No, compared to what he's being accused of today.
That's terrible.
But yeah, I remember Fartgate from 2019. Oh, my God.
That's about as good as when... what's
Such
his name?
stupid thing.
Well, it is, but it's like... anyways.
And also, there's the whole thing. Or is it Fong Fong?
Fong Fong, I thought, yeah.
You bang one Chinese spy and they never let you forget
it. Them honey pots, right?
Well, apparently it wasn't just one. Yeah, seriously. Like, I look at, people are asking why he's still in Congress. I'm like, because the demon, man. He's got something where that ambition's just there and I can do whatever I want. And
Asmodeus is his patron.
Yeah. You having any weird homosexual fantasies, Eric?
Oh, man.
You might be.
Are you sacrificing babies?
Yeah. Anyway.
Moloch.
2729228. When we come back, going to give the floor to you, kind sir. You've got a piece coming out this week.
A piece coming out. Going to publish this week, and it's part one of part two, and it involves our good friend Colonel Cinco de Mayo at the 187th, with more news to follow.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The U.S. military says it will begin a blockade of all Iranian ports starting today, and only oil that is not attached to Iran will be allowed to pass through. Also at srnnews.com, President Trump says that he believes Iran is, in fact, ready to come to terms with the U.S., even though they are not cooperating right now with the talks, and weekend talks did not yield any results. The president says that Iranian ships that come, in his words, anywhere close to that blockade will actually be destroyed. The president made that comment on social media just after the blockade of Iran was expected to begin. On Wall Street, investors appear to be optimistic about the latest developments in the Iran war. The Dow is up 65 points. The NASDAQ up by 147. The S&P 500 right now 30 points to the good. This is SRN News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does.
They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Our amazing string of warm, storm-free days continues apparently for several more days. Today, I've got the high temperature up to about 86 with partial sunshine. Mostly clear tonight, overnight low 56. Then edging closer to the upper 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good bit of sunshine each day. If we get to 90 or above Friday and Saturday, that is close to record territory. No storm systems in the foreseeable future. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News. 4 murders occurred in the city of Montgomery over the weekend. Montgomery Police Chief James Grayboy says the victims and suspects in these shootings were all familiar with each other. However, the 4 shootings are not connected to each other. Grayboy says that despite the fact that the shootings are not random attacks, they are still unacceptable. One suspect in this shooting has been arrested and charged as of Sunday. He's been identified as 30-year-old Adrian Jackson. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The Magic City Acceptance Academy, which is focused on developing LGBTQ students, is now seeking to expand. The MCAA is planning to apply to the Alabama Charter School Commission this coming May for approval of this expansion plan. The MCAA continues to show forth declining enrollment numbers and low academic scores, along with questionable run-ins with the state law that bans diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. A Dothan man has died as a result of a police standoff. Police were called to Vaughn Towers following a report of a man walking around in there with a gun. That person has now been identified as Antonio King. He ran from the towers into a home where the standoff occurred for 3 hours before King then came out and shot at police, with police returning fire. The State Bureau of Investigations is now looking into this case. I'm Andrea Tice. For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Well, the Archbishop of the Diocese of Mobile has come out and said to pray for the Holy Father or the Pope after Trump's comments. So
I think we know him, don't we?
Yeah.
Good guy.
I already did that this morning. Pray for Trump, too.
Pray for all of our leaders.
Yeah, and you should every day.
I do.
Like,
My leaders and my warriors I pray for.
Anyway, we'll get off that and maybe come back a little later because you've got something you want to share with the audience.
Speaking of warriors, yeah, I've got this is a part 1 of 2 that I'm going to be doing. This will publish this week. It's called Dark Skies, the Vulnerability of America's Strategic Air Assets at Danley Field. The presence of the latest advanced 5th generation F-35 Lightning II Tech Refresh 3 aircraft at Montgomery's Regional Airport, Danley Field, represents far more than a routine basing decision for the 187th Fighter Wing. These platforms constitute critical national level assets, Joey, equipped with classified stealth technology, sensor fusion systems, and a mission data link system that underpin the United States air dominance for decades to come. Yet, nearly after 2.5 years later, all 20 of these fighters remain parked on an open flight line under sunshades at the back western side of the field at a public use airfield with inadequate hardened infrastructure, minimal dedicated security forces, contracted security guards with no real tactical experience or weapon systems that would defeat a determined assault force. No defensive ground movement sensors, no thermal imaging sensors, and no drone autonomous aerial countermeasures. A perimeter against a perimeter that offers little resistance to determined adversaries. This exposure is not theoretical. Under the command of then Colonel Doug Cinco de Mayo, who we've had on the show before, the 187th Tactical Fighter Wing conducted several wargaming exercises and force protection assessments, along with rigorous perimeter security exercises at Danley Field. The prospect of a breached perimeter and defeated security posture demonstrates with stark clarity how easily hostile actors could reach these irreplaceable aircraft. His concerns and reports of simulated threats to higher command sounding the alarm was met with the sound of crickets. This exercise was designed precisely to expose the dangerous fallacy that our most sophisticated combat platforms can be adequately protected by light security details and standard civilian airport fencing. The results should have triggered immediate corrective action. Instead, the vulnerability persists to this day. The threat landscape has only grown more acute. The recent multiple unauthorized drone incursions over Barksdale Air Force Base, home to part of our strategic B-52 bomber fleet, serve as a chilling precedent. Swarms of drones exhibiting non-commercial characteristics and resistance to electronic countermeasures penetrated restricted airspace over sensitive flight lines. If such incursions could occur at a major active duty installation, the risk of a shared public airport like Danley Field is exponentially higher. Small commercial or hobbyist drones could deliver explosives, conduct surveillance, or disrupt operations with virtually no warning, all launched from nearby civilian areas beyond the current security envelope. The implications for national security are quite severe. Compromise of even a single F-35, particularly this model, which is the latest, could result in the loss of proprietary, low observable coatings, electronic warfare suites, software architectures that provide our decisive edge against peer adversaries. The potential for technology transfer to state actors such as China or non-state terrorist networks cannot be overstated. Moreover, a successful attack would deliver strategic propaganda victory to our enemies, eroding confidence among allies and signaling weakness inside our homeland defense posture. The 187th Tactical Fighter Wing carries the proud legacies rooted in the Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Tails, those whose courage and excellence set an enduring standard. That legacy demands that we treat their modern successors and the advanced platforms they operate with the seriousness that their mission requires. Continuing to house these aircraft without hardened aircraft shelters, reinforced perimeter defenses, dedicated rapid response security teams, or relocation to a more secure military installation constitutes an unacceptable risk. Congress, the Department of Defense, and the Air National Guard leadership must address this exposure immediately. The American people have invested hundreds of millions into these F-35s. They deserve to know their premier combat aircraft are not left exposed on a commercial tarmac, vulnerable to the next perimeter breach or drone swarm that succeeds where previous exercises have already warned us of. This is not merely a local basing issue or funding shortfall. It's a matter of negligence by the State Adjutant General's office and the governor's office, and one that threatens our very existence through negated strategic deterrence. The time for half measures has passed. Secure these assets or accept the strategic consequences when the next breach is not an exercise. Mark my words. As a former special operations soldier, I have conducted a physical, on-the-ground assessment of the Western Perimeter's fence line and commercial imagery products as well, and can assure you that I could devastate that force posture of this critical fighter wing in less than 15 minutes. If I could do it, I assure you our adversaries could do far worse. Alabama Air National Guard, govern yourselves accordingly after this warning.
You're here. That's just part one of two.
One. Yep, and we're going to then talk about what is the solution to the problem, and that is underway right now. And we'll be hearing from, I think, Colonel DeMeo here shortly about some of the developments going on in his case.
Well, we're waiting for him, and I definitely have some questions of just like, why? Is this just bureaucratic malaise? Is this just, you're bringing up something that's not even a real problem, yada, 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 yada.
It's not just at Danley, it's at other places.
Right.
And Colonel DeMeo will tell you one of his first options was we need to move these aircraft to a more dedicated, secure facility, maybe even Maxwell Air Force Base. But the problem you have, Joey, and this is one of the systemic problems, that the state Air National Guard and the Adjutant General of the state and the governor have control of these assets and the disposition of them until a federal emergency or something comes on. And unfortunately, it's a funding issue for the most part. There's not a lot of money. I know that Cinco will tell you he went to Senator Richard Shelby and to then to Tommy Tuberville to secure funds just to get the maintenance facilities in place. It almost to me smacks at the level of the Secretary of the Air Force to give out this equipment and not make sure there's provisions for it to be secure. And that would be akin to the Army putting an armory with automatic weapons and high-tech weapons in the middle of a park with a fence around it and maybe one or two security guards.
Right. Well, and definitely when this is published 1819, I will send it off to Senator Britt's office.
Thank you.
And contacts there, because I'm sure the hometown senator would have some interest in this.
I think she would. Listen, no one that... It's one of those out of sight, out of mind issues, but we've seen, Joey, the very veracity of the ability to inflict damage by remote drones.
Oh, yeah.
And autonomous vehicles. So.
Well, and again, it seems like this is not just in our own backyard, which it is, but like across the board, there's a sort of like, it's not a real threat yet enough to actually change things up. That's kind of, you're making me do extra work. You know, it's this sort of mentality. I think that is ruling the day. So we'll see. And you said Colonel Doug DeMeo should be.
He said he was going to try to call in here in a minute,
second.
and he can discuss some of that and more.
Well, and I believe, let's see, you're on there. Who's this?
This is Colonel Doug Cinco DeMeo. How you doing?
Great. Great to hear from you, sir. And I was just asking Troy here, like, what is this with, like, it seems common sense to me that you brought up all those years ago. Like, why are, not just here, but across the nation, seems like you have certain folks go, nah, it's not really an issue.
You know, so first thing I'll say is I don't speak for the Air Force or the Guard. I'm speaking as a private citizen at Cinco. And when I say this, and all I can talk about is what I experienced at the time. But I see it again right now. It's very clear what's happening. About 6 months ago, year ago, whatever the time is, around September of 2025, I wrote a chapter for a book on this very subject and posed it in doctrine about why the United States Air Force should adopt the drone in part of our air superiority, air supremacy doctrine. I wrote it out because what this really does is democratizes air power to the common person who can now, you can build your own Air Force, and it's very effective. And I talked about the raid that the Ukrainians did in Russia with 4 separate bases and how devastating that was. It was planned for about a year and a half out, and they devastated their range bomber force by about a third. Actually, it's like 40%. And then we're seeing raids that we did, that the Israelis did, and they went to school on this, and they took the Ukraine lessons, and they applied them in Iran and took out leadership before they went in with their F-35s, and we followed up with very heavy bombers. I don't personally see that the U.S. military has learned how to integrate these, and a part of it, I wonder, it's a threat. It's a threat because you have very expensive and really niche air power that is extremely effective alongside of very low-cost systems, and it's a threat to the established order, but it's always been that way. It was that way with the machine gun. It was that way with the tank, right? So that can encircle large troop formations. So these are the things that we see throughout history, and it's repeating itself.
You told me, sir, that this problem kept you up at night a lot when you took command of this unit. Is that true?
It did. It was the number one, honestly, besides obviously taking care of my people. I mean, number one by far, taking care of our airmen. But this was a problem because I saw on, especially for our guard bases, and this is not just here, it is across the country. They're put on a little piece of the airport. It's an efficiency model. I get it. It works really well, has worked really well, but you make yourself a target when people from the outside want to come and disrupt your operations. So I designed, basically in 2020, started talking about this with the leadership, and we started to build a counter-drone program. It was very nascent at that time. And you guys might remember, there was a video that came out, I don't know, 2018 or so, and it showed a drone, and it was fictitious, but showed a drone with facial recognition coming in and destroying a mannequin on stage. You know, it was obviously low-order detonation, but that scared me because I knew it could be done with anything else, and I think anybody else watching it felt the same way, and I was like, you know what, it's going to happen to us. I'm not prescient in any way. I just have studied this in military operations like you, Troy, for so long.
Well, we just lost him.
Did we?
Call back.
We're being jammed by near peer adversaries. Sir,
Yeah.
call back.
Yeah, please call back.
Yeah, he shares with me just this bevy of. He said it occupied his waking thoughts, and he knew as the commander he had to make mitigation against it. And unfortunately, they're no further along than they were when he was there. So
yeah, and there's a trope. I almost want to say this to him. I hope he's listening. Like in those like '90s like disaster movies, like not just Armageddon, like Deep Impact.
Yeah,
but also there's always that guy who's like the specialist.
Yeah.
It's like I've been studying this for years.
I hate being right, but I'm right.
And instead of it being a massive, asteroid or it being aliens or something, in this case, it is drone technology and the potential for it. As he said, you could have your own private air force.
Absolutely.
Spun up pretty daggone quick. And this is one thing that doesn't keep me up at night personally because it's not really my job to think about this stuff. But if I start thinking about it, like the asymmetrical ways that nations that don't like us could hurt us is immense, and this is just one of them.
Absolutely.
Like the list is very, very long.
For sure.
And it's kind of frustrating that you got to shake leadership in order to wake up to this stuff, because often you're fighting, I mean, this is just conventional kind of almost cliche at this point, but they're always fighting the last war. They're always kind of thinking about the older ways and not trying to stay on the cutting edge.
Hey, I got cut off there. Sorry about that, you guys.
I think we were being jammed.
Technology,
We were
right?
being jammed, sir.
But listen, I'm just going back to when when something's a problem and you just can say it. And so we started looking at this and, hey, what can we do? We got small weapons. We've got, we could hide our aircraft, disperse them. But this was going to take a long-term look at the base and others around Danley and others around the country. So, and this was a common problem, and we had started looking at it. But sure enough, it had to take the loss of many Russian aircraft, and then we lost about $2 billion worth of aircraft just in the last couple of weeks. So it's here. It's here, and it's amazing that you just watch history unfolding in front of you.
Yeah, and it is frustrating. I was just saying there is a cliche in like especially 90s, early aughts disaster movies of the one guy who studied this particular thing for years. Like I told you, it was and instead of aliens or an asteroid coming, it's actually drone technology. And look, it's here, and look at the capabilities. And it is astounding with how it's the economics of it. and how even folks that we think are backwards or even primitive compared to our capabilities, well, now they can latch onto this pretty quick.
Absolutely.
And given they are primitive, they have, I think, even more incentive to adopt these things than we do.
Exactly. And it like I said, this is the democratization of air power, just like anything else with crypto and cyber and electromagnetic spectrum. And the war comes down to every individual. And then you put AI on top of it. I was just on a call this morning with NATO regarding this similar problem, and we're talking about things that happened 2 to 3 years ago in Ukraine again and again, and we're just starting to crack into some of these things. It's very disconcerting.
Hey, sir, why don't you share with the listeners and Joey? And I know this story, but it's not a story; it's really a thematic that the Air Force's their strategic doctrine and their operational footprint has not really changed, has it at all, since the first Gulf War, which so much has changed since then. But the Air Force still believes in sanctuary, safe ops at a distance, and we know that's not true anymore.
It's really, you're right, Troy. It's really hard to change. And this goes through anything in life, right? But we call that catastrophic success. I remember that term being used, and sure enough, it's playing out.
Yep.
To where you can't even consider your, the world coming at you in full speed and going, we'll be okay, we'll figure it out. No, you won't. Things change so quickly. I mean, look at AI upon society. Look how we talked about this, a couple months ago when I was on the show, how quickly this has subsumed a large portion of the job market. And we knew it was coming, right? So we have not accepted the fact that it is here, and it's not only here, it's getting worse at an accelerating pace.
Well, and the more this is actually put into practical application on the battlefield, I imagine the event horizon of new understandings and the innovation rate just speeds up compared to where it was when you first started looking at this.
That's right. And so you bring up a great point, Joey. So here's the thing that is kind of struck me, and I'm working with Dr. Paul Schwenneson, and he is, I would consider one of the experts in drone operations in the world, and he has been over in Ukraine, I mean, at least a dozen times. He's been on the battlefield. So the chapter I wrote, Troy has it, so when you get a chance, I'll send it to you. You can read it. But he talks about this ubiquitous threat, that you could feel the psychological impact of this threat just was so small, and you couldn't find them, and it felt like you were being surveilled 24/7 with this new threat. And it changes things so dramatically in the battle space, just from a psychological point of view. And the thing is, they have mobile factories, so they're going from place to place, building these things, 3D printing them at speed, and they can adjust. Within a day, you can update the technology and the programming, which is the absolute key. I mean, you literally, there's a line from Apollo 13. I think one of the mothers said, well, if they could get a washing machine to fly, my Jimmy could fly it. Well, sure enough, that's what's happening. We're flying the equivalent right now because of the avionics right now. The flight directors can fly anything that they can get into the air.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you just sent me something here about the moon.
Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit? We also want to wrap up with some of the victories that have occurred recently in your situation. Yeah. But tell them a little bit about the project you're working on with General Quast and the seed vault and the helium on the moon.
This is like the coolest thing that's happened in a long time, Troy, and I really enjoyed talking with you about it. So here's the situation with this. It had just happened that about 6-7 years ago at Maxwell Air Force Base, they had a space group, and I can't remember the name of it. Forgive me, guys. And what they decided was, hey, what came out of this is General Quast exec, David Stuckenberg, went to Norway, and they had a discussion about seed vaults. And there's this thing called a seed trust around the world. And what it does is, it sounds kind of silly, but what they do is it's a bank of seeds that if a country gets into war or famine, et cetera, they can go. And this regularly happens. They go in and withdraw the seeds, and they plant. And they tried to take the non-GMO, pure seeds from God's creation here and put them back out there. So with the acceleration of the decline of civilization that we're seeing an acceleration in population, and you can see the pollution happening and the destruction of natural habitat as well. And I'm not a quote unquote tree hugger, but I mean, my goodness, you can see this happening, and it's really causing it's the really cause of a lot of wars. I mean, we're going to have a war over water at some point here soon. So the idea was to put a seed vault on the moon in the regolith about 3 meters down, so that it's temperature stabilized, so that we could regenerate the earth if we need to. So about 3 months ago, I was going through a pretty difficult situation. I got a call, and this actually just kind of helped turn me around. Troy, you're very knowledgeable about all this,
Right.
but it was now a mission. They asked me to write the strategy of this. I'm like, what could we do? How would you do this? How would you monetize it? So I wrote it, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do about how you would put it there. And Genesis 1:11 came to mind, which is God created the seeds in a perfect creation for the earth. And it seemed to me like this was an arc number 2, and I brought it to General Klosh. He said, that's exactly what we designed the name about, and I said, that's so cool. So the idea would be to put them there. Short term, you have a potential victory in that this is the next greatest step for man. The midterm would be now you're expanding operations to go to farm on the moon, because you can't Uber, or I should say deliver food from whatever store you want to the moon. You got to grow it. And then the next stage would be going to Mars, because there's a temperate zone on Mars. I actually got a chance to write about this and more craziness, that it's about 70 degrees, and you could actually put an atmosphere on Mars, which just go to Elon Musk's website about this, and you'll see what he has in mind to create another world, and you could export the Earth's biodrome there. Now, there's an ethical side to this, but there's also an ethical side of not having an Earth anymore. So we got to think about exploration, because you never know what's going to happen. You got to have that ready. And I even designed a doomsday kind of aspect of this, where if man was unable to reseed the Earth, that with the advanced technology, it would sense this and send the seeds in like an autogenesis machine to repopulate the Earth. And if you take a look at what things are happening right now, we're dropping seeds over the Amazon. So this is not horribly far-fetched.
What about the H3?
Cool
What about the H3?
Yes. Okay. So this is another midterm. I'm glad you reminded me. Helium-3 is a naturally forming isotope of helium, and there's only 1 kilogram of it on the Earth. And the reason is because it's the degradation of tritium that we use for nuclear weapons. But it just turns out that the sun deposits like 1 million tons of this, or I should say kilograms, on the moon. And it's worth about $20 million per kilogram. And if you heat this up to the plasma temperature, which ostensibly is about 1 billion degrees, you're going to get a perfect fusion reaction with no nuclear side effects at all. So we can do this. We just have to get the fusion reactors to get a little bit more better technology, but you can have electricity and et cetera for tens of thousands of years. So this is the new gold rush. I'm looking at a book here called Moon Rush. It was written by Dennis Wingo in, I think, 04 or 06. And he talks about this. And so this is the new rush. And, oh, by the way, you can build rockets on the moon, use water on the moon. So there's a lot of mineral deposits that we can use in addition to asteroids out there that we can mine.
That's incredible
Isn't
stuff.
it?
Yeah, and especially with the momentum of like just the success of Artemis 2 and seeing also, I believe SpaceX is sending up more supplies to the space station. Happened today. And like you're just seeing also more private contractors come online. And I mean, as you see Jared Isaacman saying, this is going to be the golden age of space exploration, hearing stuff like this, like, yep, I'm putting some meat on the bone. And it's just very, very, very cool. And when you tie in the faith, and by faith, we can do these things. We can get to the moon. We can get to Mars, that the unseen world can guide us into the scene that still is mysterious to us. It's, I don't know, it's beautiful along with compelling. And
it is. And here's, I know how much time we got, but I want to say this in about 30 seconds. We had the chance to do this in the 1960s, and Johnson administration said, no, we want to prioritize other things. We could have had a civilian, like a corporative approach to the moon. We could have done all these things then. But unlike the Athenians, who did not burn their fleet and use their silver to buy a fleet so that they could, to fight wars with and extend their civilization. We just decided not to do any more on the moon for a long time. And guess who caught up? Guess who was watching and guess who caught up? And they are doing all the things we're talking about right now. So we have this one last chance, because we still have an advantage in space, to get there and do these things and get American businesses there in the small and mid-sized companies to start this work right now. But it's got to be right now. Because if we don't get there, then they will decide what moral structure and ethical structure, as General Class says, on the moon and in space. We have to do this first.
Now, before I let you go, I definitely want to hear about, I guess I can couch as personal, professional victories, or like vindication in a way. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. I had announced to you guys, this was a while ago. It was on, and I can remember the dates. It's kind of a strange thing. Remember these things like they were just imprinted in your mind, because it is. 13th of February, 2024. I had appealed my removal from the 187th Fighter Wing. I won't go into the details of why or how, but the bottom line is it was 100% procedurally incorrect and against the law, and a local Merit System Protection Board judge in Atlanta ruled that I was to be reinstated. Well, they as in the Air National Guard here in the state, had an appeal option, which they exercised. And 2 years later, on the 31st of March of 2026, the order came down saying this is a federal level, not only are we going to dismiss that appeal, but we order your reinstatement 20 days later, and that 20th date is the 20th of April of this year. So I am to be reinstated as the wing commander and to have all the back pay from that day until now, whenever now is. They decide that now is.
Perseverance on your part, sir. I've watched your journey, and I can tell you your faith and your perseverance has prevailed.
Thank you, Troy. I really appreciate it. Wouldn't have made it, seriously. You and Robin have been amazing, and I will tell you that while there are a lot of people that say just go on with your life, there have been too many things that have happened to veterans in the last couple years, not just here, but all over the country. Yep. I cannot stop and simply just move on with my life. It's got to be done, because it's just going to happen to other people if I don't do it.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Well, congratulations on that. That is really, truly awesome. And for also the insight on everything else we discussed here in this 30 minutes, I appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
Thank you,
well,
sir.
I appreciate it. You can hear a difference in my voice, and I'm pretty dang excited.
Well, thank
Speak goes back. Yeah.
Well, again, that's Colonel Doug DeMaio.
Exciting stuff he's working on with General Quas, man. All the seed vault and the helium. It's very, very high tech and cutting edge.
Very, very cool. We got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And if you're worried about those little bugs getting inside, creeping and crawling all up in your house, all up in your business, cockroaches, ants, fire ants, maybe you got kids or dogs and you don't want them all eaten up by the nasty, nasty fire ants.
Yep.
Pest Pro can take care of it. Essentially, if you're looking for basic pest control needs, they have a monthly subscription model for that, very reasonably priced. And it's a great way to control cost over the year and make sure that you're on top of your pest control needs. And if you need to add something like mosquito protection, they can do that. Or termite inspection protection, they can do that. Maybe you get some critter in your crawl space or up in the ag or something. They can handle some wildlife control for you. So y'all check out Pest Pro today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. They have a very active Facebook page. And, check them out because they're also doing a lot of events and just fun things to help and give back to the community. So you can always call them as well at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team there at Pest Pro Services that Joey and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
When it comes to your mortgage, who you work with matters. And this is one decision where local makes all the difference. Don't fall victim to flashy mailers, spam calls, or 1-800 lenders who don't even know your name, much less your neighborhood. Those lenders are often sitting in some faraway state, reading from a script, and chasing volume, not relationships. A local lender understands the market you live in, or should I say that we live in. At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can look at us in the eye and trust us with one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Local lenders don't disappear after closing day. Our reputation is built right here, one family at a time. So before you pick up the phone and call a stranger, remember us, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage. You deserve guidance from someone who knows the community because they're a part of it. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
Montgomery Men's Health salutes the man everyone depends on. You, the grill master. Your family don't have to go out to eat. You carry the load. You solve the problems. Mr. Fix-It. But when you're off, we all feel it. And what happens when the gas runs out? When the strength drops? When the transmission stalls? And I ain't just talking about your truck. Male performance is complicated. Treating low T and ED requires technical precision, and that's where Montgomery Men's Health shines. We've been conquering this since 2014, long before every strip mall had a low T sign. We started this clinic to level you up, to help separate fact from internet fiction, hype from the successful realities we see every day. What works 92% of the time versus what might work online. And we keep getting better. Better service, better care, better value. And for $99, you'll receive a lab panel in minutes and a consultation with our medical provider. Don't wait. Call 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get a lot of questions about what all we handle at Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader, and we will handle all of your real estate needs.
We handle all your buying and selling needs, from your first home, next home, land, investment property, and even commercial properties.
We do it all and have the experience that shows you what makes us different.
So when you think real estate, think Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Look us up on Facebook or give us a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you who you have on your sign matters.
Weather service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Our amazing string of warm, storm-free days continues apparently for several more days. Today, I've got the high temperature up to about 86 with partial sunshine. Mostly clear tonight, overnight low 56, then edging closer to the upper 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good bit of sunshine each day. If we get to 90 or above Friday and Saturday, that is close to record territory. No storm systems in the foreseeable future. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASC Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate for your October statement. Visit ASC Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Just checking out 1819 News as we round out the show here. Of course, they update always after 2 p.m. And, seeing the Archbishop of Mobile, Mark Rivatuso, weighing in on the Trump saying, Pope Leo is weak. I like your brother better than you. In fact, if it wasn't for me winning in a landslide, you wouldn't even be Pope right now. They picked an American because they thought that's the best way to deal with Trump.
You can't make that up. I love it.
And Rutuso, the Archbishop here in Mobile, saying that he echoes what the president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops said, which was, I am disheartened that the president chose to write such disparaging words about the Holy Father. Pope Leo is not his rival, nor is the Pope a politician. He's the vicar of Christ who speaks from the truth of the gospel and for the care of souls. The Archbishop here of Mobile said, I echo the statement issued today by Archbishop Coakley and join my brother bishops in affirming his role, the Holy Father's role. I encourage all the faithful to be one with the Holy Father in praying for and witnessing to the gospels of Christ's peace and care for all peoples. I ask for all to pray for our president and all in public office to work for a greater peace and justice in our world. Indeed, I was doing that this morning for everybody involved in this. And I'm sorry, maybe I've just watched too much Trump, but I find this incredibly comical. And as far as Trump attacks go, this was very mild and also a little disjointed. So I don't know. I think it's a good sign that maybe the Pope is kind of acting like an annoying external conscience, which is in many ways his role, even for folks that aren't Catholic.
What he's supposed to do.
Now, there's another top leading story at 1819 News. Thank you for Erica Thomas for writing up the Archbishop story. Craig Monger, back at 1819, I was at Shake and Craig, and arguably one of the most corrupt state legislatures, Freedom Caucus Network head says Goat Hill is not remotely qualified to form an Alabama Freedom Caucus. Woo! So Craig Monger writes, could a group of like-minded conservative state lawmakers form their own voting bloc similar to the House Freedom Caucus on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C.? Over the years, the House Freedom Caucus has been a thorn in the side of Republican leadership, especially with Republicans holding a narrow majority in the House. That gives the House Freedom Caucus leverage to force moderate Republicans to back more conservative options. While the Alabama legislature boasts a healthy Republican supermajority, many conservative issues still fall by the wayside despite popular public support. This has led some officials to consider forming a Freedom Caucus in Montgomery to push a more conservative agenda on fiscal policy issues, including budget growth, taxes, and so-called economic development handouts. Such an effort has been resisted by the current power structure over the years, but also preventing this from taking shape in Alabama is the political infrastructure needed to support potential Freedom Caucus members. Recently, U.S. Representative Barry Moore, a former Alabama House member, current U.S. House Freedom Caucus member, and U.S. Senate candidate, expressed hope that the Alabama legislature will form its own version of the Freedom Caucus, especially given the likely victory of current U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville in the gubernatorial election later this year. Former U.S. Representative Mo Brooks, also a former member of the Alabama House and the U.S. House of Representatives Freedom Caucus, is seeking to unseat incumbent state rep James Lomax, prompting further speculation. The efforts of the House Freedom Caucus led to the launch of the State Freedom Caucus Network, which was founded in 2021 by Andrew Roth to bring the House Freedom Caucus's cause to state legislatures. The Freedom Caucus Network's website quotes House Freedom Caucus founding members, and former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is saying, quote, the reason I helped launch the House Freedom Caucus in the U.S. Congress is because I knew it would be a game changer, an advance of limited government and conservative values, and it was. Now it's time to take it to the states. And the State Freedom Caucus Network is going to help make it happen. According to Roth, the Freedom Caucus Network was launched independently of the House Caucus, but, quote, with their blessing and under their auspices. There are 50 swamps in the 50 state capitals, and I firmly believe that they are more corrupt than D.C., Roth told 1819 News, which is a very bold claim, but I believe it to be true. And what happens is that when a voter turns on the TV or opens up their phone, they hear plenty about what's going on in D.C., whether it's Trump or Kamala, or the war in Ukraine, or Iran, or inflation, but they don't hear a lot about what's going on in their state capital, and these various state swamps like it that way. Thus far, 15 Freedom Caucuses are operating across the country. Ross says he wants the number to be 50. However, that depends on state lawmakers' conservative voting records, and Alabama has not left him impressed. I can say with 100% certainty that the current crop of lawmakers are not remotely qualified for an Alabama Freedom Caucus, Ross said. Now, if you have your primaries and you're able to elect more than a handful of just based conservative lawmakers, then we're definitely interested. He continued, there's always a desire on our part to go into any and all states, and that includes Alabama, but also California, Vermont, New Jersey. Our stated public goal is that we want to have 50 state freedom caucuses, so the desire is there on our part. The problem is that Alabama is thoroughly corrupt and is arguably one of the most corrupt state legislatures that we've looked at. And starting a Freedom Caucus there is much more difficult than a lot of other places. Well, the Freedom Caucus Network does not have a minimum number of lawmakers needed to found a caucus. Excuse me. Ross said it would take a number of really hard-nosed conservatives that have the skills to get elected and reelected. How vocal are they when things happen? Roth continued. When the governor gives their State of the State address, does anybody comment about what's good and bad in there? Do they publicly declare what their red lines are on supporting a budget? What's their track record on their level of engagement on social media? How do they behave in committee? Despite the reputation some may have of the Freedom Caucus, Roth boasts massive success in some states where members have been elected and reelected, enabling them to pass bills that had previously been stonewalled. They effectively took control of the Wyoming House, Ross said, so the Speaker is a Wyoming Freedom Caucus member. The Pro Tem is a Freedom Caucus member. The Budget Chair is the Freedom Caucus member. And that's basically the goal. Calling a large swath of state lawmakers Southern Democrats that just have an R after their name, Roth contends that the largest black mark for the state lies primarily in its budgetary process. Even though Alabama is a supermajority Republican state, their budgets keep growing, either single or double digits, and with unanimous or nearly unanimous support, Ross stated. And when Democrats and Republicans are all supporting the budget, you know that the taxpayers are getting fleeced. He continued, Alabama is in the top 5 most corrupt states. Like, I don't know the ins and outs of all 50 state legislatures, but I'm confident that Alabama's pretty high up there because of all the tricks they play on the taxpayer. Lead story there at 1819 News. And yeah, it's nice when an outsider takes a look at your place and that's home with fresh eyes and goes, yeah, you ain't crazy. I see it too.
And you know what I think that the veracity of what he's saying is the corruption at the state level is probably far worse than at the federal because there's very little organs to enforce ethics and certain regulations within the state. And more importantly, you feel the burn quicker from a state policy of if there's corruption than you would from a federal policy. So it's very, very apparent to me that there needs to be a gutting, but how do we do the bloodletting? So
we got to hit this break. Final segment, hopefully with Ray Bowles coming up.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders. Living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
When it's time to replace an old window or door, you want expert craftsmanship and proven experience. You want Davis Door and Sash. Right now, take advantage of our limited time promotion. 10% off materials on new energy-efficient doors and windows. Voted best in the River region for windows and installation in 2024 and 25. Davis Door and Sash would love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsash.alabama.com. Davis Door and Sash, the perfect fit for your home.
Hi, I'm Brian McMahon with Turf Stalkers. Within a few months of advertising with Blue Water, our customer base doubled. If you're looking for similar results, we highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm just getting a kick out of X right now because, Trump posted that photo where he's clearly Jesus. And when he was asked about that at the White House, after ordering McDonald's on DoorDash, he's like, I'm going to rip the Pope, then I'm going to start the blockade of Hormuz, and then I'm going to order a Filet-O-Fish for me and the boys. And as he's just picked up this delivery, reporters started asking him questions like, why did you post a picture of yourself as Jesus Christ? And he goes, I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and I had to do with the Red Cross as a Red Cross worker. Only the fake news could come up with that one. Tim Pool says, oh, thank God. I was worried Trump thought of himself as Jesus, but it just turns out he's retarded. And I'm like, goodness gracious, man. And it's like, oh, do you want Kamala back? No, but like this was a hilarious day in so many ways. And, I'll continue to pray for peace. Like I said at the top of the show, hopefully some conclusions can be made out of this, in not just for human life's sake, though that's a good enough reason in and of itself, but the politics. We don't need high gas prices going into the 4th of July. We need more focus. You just heard that little preview of Stephen Miller talking about the anti-fraud effort.
I agree.
Whatever happened to the immigration talk? That just went away all of a sudden. So it's just, we need to get out of the sandbox.
Yep.
If he can solve this pretty quickly, and I think even saw Putin over the Orthodox Easter calling for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
So, perhaps you get that war to end, especially now that the Ukrainians have been pushing the Russians back with those novel technologies we were talking about with the colonel about.
Right.
But we need that's not what Americans care about when they go to vote.
No, agreed. And it's going to be very telling here in the 2026 midterms how things are handled now, how it's going to bear fruit very soon. So
anyway, we shall see. Before I forget, this part of the program brought to you by Prattville Carpet.
That's right.
And their Prattville Carpet, Ray Bowles and that great team are ready to help you out with any new flooring job. Of course, carpet, they could even cut you a brand new area road. They could also do traditional hardwood, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl plank, laminate products. Don't forget the epoxy flooring.
I love the epoxy. Yeah, that's great.
Make a garage really pop, or back patio that flows into the yard, looks natural, or something like that.
Yep.
So y'all check out Prattville Carpet today. It's as simple as calling them up at 285-8117. They'll come out, do a free in-home measurement. You pick out what product you want to use. They'll get that down real quick. Just that simple. Again, that number for Prattville Carpet, 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. So, yeah, we learned today that Trump decided to go after the Pope, and I find it hilarious. I mean, a lot of serious statements, like Bishop Barron saying he should apologize to the Pope, and Trump's like, I'm not going to apologize. He was wrong about Iran.
Yes, he was.
And then, all sorts of the official statements. But I'd say, the best part of the official statements is everybody get on your knees and pray.
Really, yeah.
For Trump, for every religious leader, for every public official, and that we might actually have some peace and understanding in this world, because I do genuinely worry, the more I watch the way this world is going, that often we're losing the most important battle, the one that's, the battlefield is the human heart. And there's something about our modern tech that if you take it too seriously, if we take ourselves too seriously, we are going to rip ourselves to shreds. Maybe not literally with our bare hands, but on the inside, so to speak.
Asunder. Yep.
And I think there's a way to overcome some of this stuff. Yeah, you can. It's always healthy to be a little detached and to treat it as the news cycle that it is. Like tomorrow, next day, are we going to even be talking about it? Nah, not really.
Probably not.
I predicted last week, and I predicted this will keep going.
Yes.
The corporate media, in particular, when you see Rubio and Vance are the presumed front runners for 2028,
right?
they are going to have so much fun using their Catholic faith as a wedge issue, a wedge against the Republican base.
Agree.
A wedge, constantly pitting those two, using their essentially professed faith against them, is going to be fascinating to unfold. And you better believe the literal demons in the corporate media will definitely do something
They're
like
already
that.
there, yeah.
And they're already just getting warmed up.
They are.
And of course, Trump gave them a lot of ammunition on this particular one.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's now, I think, the mystery of that demonic-looking figure is like in the background.
Very strange.
And I don't know. It's from the character you see is from a book somebody posted on Reddit, and it's supposed to be like some guy who walks Jesus' path to thwart modern-day Baal worshippers or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
I just don't trust AI at this point.
It's very, very demonic. It seems.
Occasionally, you'll see that just sneak out, but maybe that's just a reflection of us. Oh no! And breaking news: cannabis. Pot.
Yeah, marijuana.
Yeah, is detrimental to sperm.
Really?
Even if they can fertilize, there can be DNA damage.
Wow.
Well, daggum. That's from Andrew Huberman, Dr. Natalie Crawford on the Huberman Lab pod out. So all the bro scientists are like, oh, crap, I've been smoking weed for years.
Wait a minute.
My swimmers are broken.
Right.
Can't deal with that. Anyway, we got Greg Budell coming up. How are you doing today?
Joey?
More Hershey's chocolate?
I don't know if Alan's
Oh, no. Well, I tried some of your Belgian waffle cookies. They're quite good.
Feel free. What's mine is yours.
Likewise.
And by the way, I'm going to blast the Pope.
You're going to blast the Pope? I just think the whole thing's
Give him a
comical.
shot across your mouth.
Oh, well, I'll pray for you too, Greg. Praying for everybody else. Why not? Anyway.
Oh, well.
Well, y'all stay tuned. Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome, brother. It was a good day.
Happy hour. They're next.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 9.